All right, everybody, here we are. Myself, Mike Valentine. There is my buddy Cheese to my right-hand side, right above the Battle Bites logo. We'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. And you are watching Lights Out Sports, or maybe you're listening to Lights Out Sports because we are now not only on video, but we are on audio. It's probably better for some of you to just do the audio and not have to see, this. So,
but they want to see this.
Well, that's true. They do want to see that, especially that gorgeous hair over there. It was funny. We came on the air and he was looking at himself and he was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with my hair?" And then he has enough gall to tell me, "Oh, you don't know anything about that, do you?" Maggot. All right, so
I could have waited till we are on air,
Well, I went ahead and did it for you, sir.
Yeah, you did it for me. There we go. Okay.
It's one of those things. I figure if I insult myself before you have a chance to do it, it doesn't hurt quite so bad. So.
Okay.
All right, guys. I tell you what, man. First of all, I want to thank you. I don't know how much Cheese looks at all the numbers and everything else, but I look at numbers all the time. The show, since our last week's show, did over 300 views between YouTube, Facebook, and all the other platforms that we are on. Appreciate it. It's not necessarily a record-setting one, but it is climbing and it keeps being steady, and we appreciate each and every one of you who are with us every single day. And of course, we can't do a whole lot without, we gotta do the one thing, right?
You talking about the walk-up music?
Oh, is that what it's called?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Well, I'm also over here getting the hat ready too, but we are gonna do the walk-up music.
Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody. I was messing with the wrong buttons over there. Not that you guys would ever know, but I'll tell on myself and say that I was messing with the wrong stuff. I was like, why isn't that music fading in the background? Because I was fading something else. Got the mixer and everything else in front of me and just not knowing what the heck I'm doing, I guess. That's what it is. But of course, all of you know that we are Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are Lights Out Sports, and we are coming to you live from a studio that somebody's yet to sponsor. We'll get it done eventually. But, ladies and gentlemen, myself and Cheese, we are here with you guys today, and we can't wait to get everything started. So let's jump right into it. We got MLB. We got college football. We'll be talking more about college football in a minute, and we'll conclude this episode of Lights Out Sports, of course, with the NFL football written by the man himself, Cheese. His name has holes in it, but his football talk does not. All right. So, before we get too started off, we've got to do the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5, but we've also got to talk to Cheese a second, buddy. I've been doing all the talking. Tell me, man, how has your week been?
So far, so good. It's a holiday week, so it's a short week. So I like that. And there's a lot of football on before Sunday. A lot of NFL. There's a lot of college. On Friday, it's just we got 3 NFL games Thursday, 1 Friday, and a bunch of college on Friday. Actually, the college games are better than on Friday and Saturday. So I'm excited. I love this week.
Well, I don't know if they're better overall. We've got one. We have the game on Saturday, so we'll get to all of that here though, and then
Indiana Purdue,
something a little more.
Yeah, Indiana Purdue, correct?
Yeah, Indiana Purdue. Yeah, that's
gonna be close. It's gonna be really close. Yeah,
maybe the same conference, but I don't think it's the same two teams, sir.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's do the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5, but let's explain it for those of you who are with us for the first time. We love our first-time listeners. We love our first-time viewers here on Lights Out Sports. Here's the way it goes. We're going to put flames up on the screen. Cheese has 5 minutes to get 5 questions. And if he does not, then he will burst into flames. And I'll have to do the rest of the show all by myself.
It almost happened last week. It was like a second.
It came really close to happening last week.
Yep, almost died.
Yes, and we've already got comments over here. We'll get to those in just a couple seconds. But first, Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. We're going to do baseball. I'm going to do 2 baseball, 2 NFL football, and 1 college football. All right. And none of them have to do with the Packers this week. Second week in a row that I've chosen none with the Packers. So here we go, buddy. All right. According to Brian Hotch, H-O-C-S, who covers the Yankees for MLB.com, Hal Steinbrenner had this quote.
Mm-hmm.
Payroll was $319 million in 2025, and he gave this quote about it. He says, would it be ideal if it went down? Of course. But does that mean that it's going to happen? Of course not. We want to field a team we know can win a championship, or we believe could win a championship. My question to you is, as we start the flames, as soon as I'm done with this question, how many of the 30 owners would say the same thing about wanting to be so passionate about winning?
How many?
Yes.
I can count on one hand, probably. They have a lot of revenue, so they are able to spend more than others. And they put a lot of back on the team. Not as much as some teams, believe it or not. Yankees, don't put as much back in revenue as you might think, but they still do. But no, there are very few owners. There's sometimes companies that buy franchises and they just want to make money. It's about profit. They see it as a business. So you don't have a lot of owners that will say that. I think it's less than 6.
All right. So we got the first one out of the way. Let's go to the second one. And it's this. Shedeur Sanders won his first game. It was against the Raiders, of course. But since it was against the Raiders, give him a grade, Cheese. What grade would you give Shedeur Sanders in his first NFL victory?
Probably C-. He's look, it's the Raiders. Let's just first say that. It's the Raiders. Right. They are awful. They're awful. He threw 1 touchdown pass, and everyone was talking about, his first touchdown pass. All he did was throw a pass that even Mike Ballantyne would have completed. It was behind line of scrimmage. And then Dylan Sampson did all the work, went 66 yards for a screen pass touchdown. But he still has a lot to work on. He made some good throws, and he's made some not so good throws. What I wanted to see, and what I keep wanting to see with him is stop taking sacks, stop holding it too long. He did pretty good for the most part against the Raiders, but it is the Raiders, so I want to see him face better defenses. We'll see what happens going forward, but I'll say C-.
Okay. So we got Shedeur Sanders out of the way. We got the Yankees out of the way. Let's go back to baseball for a second with the Chicago White Sox. The Chicago White Sox current roster is Andrew Benintendi. I love this. Luis Robert Jr., and then 24 other guys that are making $900,000 or less. The question is, and that's truly the roster, the question is, can they be competitive? And we all know the answer is no to that. But then, if you're a Chicago White Sox fan, what should you do right now?
Switch to the Cubs. There's just no reason. I know there's loyalty and stuff, but they're not going to be good anytime soon. The farm system, they haven't really done a good job with that, considering they've been so bad. Their farm system should be way better than this. It's not terrible. It just should be a lot better. But Andrew Benintendi making all that money, he's not even any good. He stinks. He's not a good player anymore. He used to be decent, but he's not a very good player anymore. So that's awful. And unless they go out and spend like crazy, and they won't, they're not going to be any good anytime soon.
All right, let's look at our college football question for a second, and then we'll save the insult of the Cardinals for last. All right, so the SEC has an 85 scholarship limit. They are going to vote sometime soon to possibly revoke that limit and make it unlimited. If the SEC goes with unlimited scholarships every year, is that good for SEC teams or bad, sir?
Oh God, it's good for all the players because they get a free education, but they're already getting NIL money. I mean, how much more? This could be bad. The more the bigger conferences get, it'll hurt smaller conferences. It already hurts the transfer rule. The NIL already hurts. The big schools can afford more. So it would help the SEC even more. So I had not heard this. This is the first time I'm hearing it, so I'm shocked, but I might have to make a video on this in the future.
All right. I'll send you over the link it's on our X page as well. That's at Sport All Gloves Off SM, All Gloves Off SM. So here's the latest for the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if you've read this one either. We got a little under a minute for you to get this one. And if you do, then we'll talk about this and last week's a little bit more. In the last 25 years, NFL teams with a 4+ turnover ratio were 50-0 in that game. After the Cardinals lost to the Jaguars with 4 turnovers, they are now 50-1. Is this because of bad players? Or is it because of bad coaching? Yeah, I don't think you've heard that. You're shaking your head over there.
Well, bad coaching. The coaching staff's been awful, but the Cardinals, I don't know what it is. They find a way to lose just about every game. They do everything they can. It's almost like they're not trying. And they got a gift touchdown, Walter Nolan. It's just here, have a touchdown. But I think it's bad coaching. I think they need to make some major changes to next year.
Look at that. 1 second left and he got it. All right, man. Let's So, yeah, we talked about the Cardinals last week. Yes, I'm a Cardinals fan. All right. I tell you what, I don't know why I took this week off because I'm not doing anything Sunday. I mean, if the Cardinals play somebody and they're going to lose to them, and the Bengals play on Thursday, so why in the world am I even going to watch any kind of football? I don't know what I'm doing Sunday, but it's probably not watching football. We talked about it last week. I'll flip back to my notes here. In their loss against the 49ers, they outgained them by 207 yards. Yeah. And so far this season, every team that had gained or outgained their opponent by over 200 yards had won. They were 14-0. Well, the Cardinals now made it 14-1. And now they're not only are they doing history in a season, they're doing history in the last 25 years. They got 4+ turnovers in that game on Sunday and still lost. How do you explain that?
I can't. It's like every single so you lose by 19, you outgain it by 200 yards, lose by 19. Mm-hmm. 4 turnovers a 0, lose by 3. They have the most one-score losses in the NFL this year. And we've seen the best of them. They have some good young defensive players. They went to Dallas and pretty much dominated that game. They won by 10, but they have I thought they'd be a 10-17. That was kind of my prediction for the season. They have talent to do that, but yes, somehow they just can't put a whole game together. The coaching staff has been awful. This needs some major changes, but I don't think you need to overturn the roster or anything like that. But I'm shocked they're this bad. They should not be. They have way underachieved, and when you underachieve, usually the coach gets fired.
Oh, so you rose something that I wanted to talk about here for a second. You don't think Jonathan Gannon makes it. You said that last week, and I even think the week before as well. I'm still saying that he does just because there's been so many injuries. I mean, they're down to like their 20th running back, for God's sake. And, they're in their backup quarterback, even though we both know that I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be there next year, but they're going to use that as an excuse as to why they haven't won. So can they use those built-in excuses to keep Jonathan Gannon around for another year, or is he going to get axed at the end of it?
Well, they went 9-8 last year, I believe.
Yes.
And they have a better roster this year. So it doesn't matter if there's injuries. They still should be better than this. Wait, It's a Cardinals GM. He wants me to play running back. Okay. No, but they're at Tampa Bay.
I don't know if that pretty hair can fit in the helmet or not.
If Clay Matthews can do it, I can do it. They're at Tampa Bay, right? Then they're the Rams. Then they're at the Texans. They're very unlikely to win any of those games.
Yes.
So, I mean, they might. They're 3 wins. They do play the Bengals, so maybe they'll win that. No, but Burrow's back, so they're 3-8. They're probably going to be a 4-13 or 5-12 team. You can't going into the season. I didn't think they were a Super Bowl contender, but you can't win 4 or 5 games with that roster and just say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we'll give you another shot." There's been so many meltdowns, that Tennessee Titan game is a perfect example. I don't think I've ever seen a worse, in at least a decade, a team blow a game that bad against a team that shouldn't even have any wins this year. They're probably going to end up with 1 and that one. So I think it's time just to move on. They need somebody else in there.
Well, I think they may be subscribing to the cheese theory of losing football games to get a better draft pick. Did you watch the game at all, by the way?
I watched part of it. I watched the red zone part of the game. I have not.
Okay.
I wish now. Yeah, I rewatched 3 games so far. You know, they had all the plays in like 30 minutes.
Well, yeah,
I did not rewatch that one.
You probably did see it if you were doing the red zone, because they had a chance to score the touchdown at the very end. And instead I don't know if you saw where the receiver, Michael Wilson, spun the football and all of this after he made the catch, showing off. And then they were like, "Oh crap, we got to grab the football." And they went back, and instead of spiking it, they called another play, and it was chaos. They wasted 10 or 12 seconds.
He could have gone right up and spiked it. Yep.
Correct.
I saw that. And then by the time that play was over, they had to kick it because they only had like 6 seconds left. Yeah. But little things like that, you got to blame the coach. You can't – they keep finding ways to not finish games. So who are you going to blame?
But maybe they told the coach to lose the game.
We'll give you a year extension if you –
Maybe.
It's possible.
I mean, it's possible, right? You're the guy who's like, no, keep losing so you get a better draft pick. Maybe they're in that mindset right now because they're not going anywhere. Winning that game on Sunday doesn't make them go anywhere, right? Because you got Seattle, you've got LA, who has the best record in football or best record in that division right at the moment. I mean, they're not going anywhere, so maybe they lost on purpose.
More on that later in the show. But it's possible. But if they are, I mean, it's a good strategy. You want to pick higher.
All right. So let's get away from NFL for a second. Here is our college football poll question for tonight's Lights Out Sports Podcast. Who is the best one-loss team in college football? Is it Georgia? Is it Texas Tech? Is it Ole Miss? Or Oregon? Those are your 4 choices. I know there's a couple other one-loss teams, but I gave people the opportunity to vote for, North Texas, I believe, right? And then BYU, or is it Texas State? Which one is it?
I don't think they were in the poll.
Okay. No, they were not. And I think we know why. So
James Madison. Yeah.
James Madison is a one-loss team, right? But none of those are going to be voted as the best one-loss team. So again, you can go over to @AllGlovesOffSM on our X account, and you can vote for the Twitter poll question. We'll be getting to it here in about 5 minutes. It already has over 140 votes, so a lot of people have been doing it. A lot of people have been voting and putting their comments out there. Every comment gets reposted, by the way, so that all of us can grow on our X account. We appreciate the fact that we are now up over 7,800 people following us on X. So let's transfer over to our college football spread offense. All right, Cheese, we are not just going to do the best one-loss team. We're going to give you 1R, 1, 2, and 3, number 3. Well, wait a minute. Let me back this up. I'm going to screw this all up, right? So 3 loss teams. We're going to do our top 3 3-loss teams, we're going to do our top 3 2-loss teams and our top 3 1-loss teams. We're going to look at a lot of bowl-eligible teams. There's a reason for it. I'm going to kind of connect the dots as we go over the next few weeks. We're also going to talk about Penn State. We're going to look at some upset alerts, and of course, who were the biggest winners and losers of last week. So we will do all of that and more right here on our college football spread offense. So let's start with the first one. Let's look at these 3-loss, 2-loss, and 1-loss teams, Cheese. I've got mine. I'm sure you have yours. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see if we have the same.
No, we won't.
Maybe the same teams, just not the same order, but we never do, right?
No, we never do.
Never do. Hey, and for all of you who are with us, all 40-plus people who are with us live right now, you can be with us live tomorrow night because we are tomorrow night. It's Thanksgiving. We're going to give you more Lights Out Sports, more.
Wait, you said night? You said night, though. You said tomorrow night.
Well, okay. So then what time are we going to be live tomorrow, Chief?
It's not tomorrow night. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a college football rivalry special. Tomorrow, we're both off work. We're going to do it at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. That is 11 Central and 10 Mountain Time for anyone that can't do the things. Mike cannot do those. So 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. That's 11 a.m. my time. We will do a college football rivalry. We will preview the games. We'll go over all kinds of rivalries, what they mean, all of that. So we'll do about 30 to 45 minutes. Hopefully.
Well, I'm out here on the West Coast, and that's going to be 10 a.m. for me, right? Since we're just going out all kinds of times. Okay.
You're going to be 10 a.m., yes.
All right. So I'll make sure I'm up and ready to go, and we will do some more college football at those times tomorrow. I can't do all those times. That's why I had Cheese do it.
Tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, except your East Coast, right at noon.
All right. So we're going to do Lights Out Sports, the college football rivalry edition. All right, can't wait to do that, buddy. We're going to do a lot of stuff here with it now, and then we've got more to do tomorrow. So we're going to change it up a little bit, and let's do it this way. Let's go our 3, 2, and 1 best 3 lost teams. So just so you understand how we're going to do this, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take it first, and then I know Cheese will follow behind me. So let's do that. So I'm just going to give you all 3 of my teams, and then we'll talk about them after Cheese gives us his 3 teams, and we'll go from there. So my number 3 best 3-loss team would be the Arizona State Sun Devils. Okay. My number 2 3-loss team would be Tennessee, the University of Tennessee. And then my number 1 3-loss team would be USC. Cheese, give us your 3 and see what kind of order they fall in as compared to mine. Go ahead, buddy.
I had 2 of those. So my number 3 was USC. My number 2 was Texas. And my number 1 was Tennessee.
Texas?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. We'll talk more about Texas on the special tomorrow, but I don't want to kill people right at the moment, but I wouldn't put Texas anywhere close to the top 3. They have looked terrible in a bunch of games this year. Now, I will also have to say, though, I've watched every ASU game this year, and they start off slow. ASU can't seem to score in the first 2 quarters. So they only play like a good half a game. But so far, it's been enough to win almost all of them but 3. So I'll still put them at number 3. So you didn't have ASU in yours, right?
Yeah, they've had some injuries, so I didn't put them there. I did consider them. They would have probably been 4. But no, I went. The reason why I put Texas in, they just have such a talented team. They have been playing better. They did get whooped by Georgia, but Georgia's really good. But I have seen them play much better since that Florida game. And they just got so much talent. So that's why I put them in there.
I mean, I'll give you the fact that they have talent. We'll talk about Texas a lot more tomorrow in our college football rivalry preview that we're going to do at what time, sir?
Noon Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mike Ballantyne, Arizona time. and 9 if you're on the Pacific time.
Oh.
Because right now,
Arizona,
Arizona, right now, you're mountain time, believe it or not. You're Pacific time when it's warm weather months, although it's always warm for you.
I was going to say, it's always warm here,
Yeah.
sir. That's why I live here.
It's going to be in the 70s here tomorrow. So, yeah, I get it.
All right, not a problem. Let's look at our 2-loss teams.
Okay.
My number 3 2-loss team would be Alabama. My number 2 2-loss team would be Notre Dame. And I think to a lot of people's surprise, but I'll explain myself, my number 1 2-loss team, to me, has to be Oklahoma. What are your 3 teams, sir?
I have those exact 3 teams in that exact order.
Wow. All right. And we did not talk about this before the show. So
Yeah.
Alabama maybe I don't
3.
have to explain Oklahoma. I thought I would, but maybe I don't. So
They have a great defense. Their quarterback's healthy, and they won at Alabama. They've just been playing really well. They had a few hiccups, but they just playing outstanding. You may be one of the best defenses in the country. Definitely top 5. And yeah, Alabama 3, Notre Dame 2, Oklahoma 1. That's what I have.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll talk about Alabama and Notre Dame for a second then. Alabama, of course, 9-2. They're playing Auburn this week. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Notre Dame, I still think, has the best running back, and I'm crossing my fingers for a possible Heisman Trophy for him. And then you've got to be able to put Oklahoma there at the number 1 spot. I'm clicking on a couple things here. I'm trying to do this real quick, and my internet connection is not letting me. And you know, there's a bunch of pop-ups where I'm going to, so it's like close. Let me get to their schedule, because they have an absolute gauntlet of a schedule here where they just beat Alabama. So Missouri was a team they beat last week. Then they beat Alabama before that. Then they beat Tennessee before that. And they lost to Ole Miss by, 8 points. They beat South Carolina. And then Texas did beat them as well. So I don't know.
Texas
Maybe
pretty much owned them. Texas did own them in that game. That was a really surprising. I watched every snap of that game. I was shocked. I thought it'd be right there.
Yeah. So maybe I needed to put Texas in my 3-loss category there.
Well, Texas also lost to Florida, who has 3 wins. But what Oklahoma did against Missouri is Ahmad Hardy was averaging like 7 yards a carry. Missouri's offense has been tremendous this year. They completely shut him down. They held Missouri to 6 points. Very impressive. They only scored 17. The offense does worry you a little bit, but anyone that can hold Ahmad Hardy to 57 yards rushing, that's a really, really good defense.
All right. This will be interesting, because today, at least, I'm going to play the part of Cheese. Cheese always says, every time I vote on the poll question, the team that I vote for is always at the bottom. Well, this time, Cheese, the team that I voted for was at the bottom, and we'll see if that's the same team that you voted for to be number 1.
Well,
yours is at the top.
Mine's at the
All
top.
right. All right. So I know who yours is going to be then. I bet we're both going to have the same number 3 team, though. I'm going to say Ole Miss is number 3. Is that what you were going to put them at?
Yes.
Okay. So, Lane Kiffin has done a very good job over there. He's got some great athletes. I don't know if they can win the whole thing or not, but that's not what we're talking about right at the moment. We're just saying who are the best 3 1-loss teams. And being the number 3 1-loss team is not a bad thing whatsoever. So Ole Miss at number 3. I'm going to put Georgia number 2, and I'm banking you are not. So if I put Georgia at 2, who did you put at number 2, sir?
Oregon.
Did you really put Oregon at number 2?
Yeah. Oregon's looked
they've
really
not
good.
Beat anybody, right?
They looked. Well, they beat USC. USC's a top 20 team. They look really good doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oregon.
Oh, now I've got to find the quote. Okay, go ahead. So I am shocked, to be very honest with you, that you put Oregon there and you didn't put Texas Tech there.
They would have been 4th.
Oh, come on. You're a defensive guy, Cheese.
Texas Tech, the Texas Tech, they did lose to Arizona State. But Texas Tech, I just don't know how good they really are, because I don't know how good BYU is. I can't wait to see Texas Tech in the college football playoff, because I just don't know how good they really are. I do love their defense, but I had Oregon. Yeah, I had Oregon number 2 of the one-loss teams. You hate Oregon. Their only loss is Indiana. You see they haven't beat anybody. They beat USC. I mean, it's not their fault they haven't played Ohio State.
Well, but it is their fault when they run their mouth. When Dan Lanning runs his mouth and says, "Oh, well, we didn't play. What was it? Whoever Georgia played last week, some terrible team that sets themselves." Whatever team it was, the Sisters of the Poor, whatever it was, right? That they played last week, and then Dan Lanning makes fun of them playing that team, knowing what the rest of Alabama's schedule is. I don't think you can say crap like that until you win a national title, or until something like that has to happen before you start bad-mouthing a university that has multiple of them.
You see bad-mouth Georgia or Alabama? Because Alabama played Eastern Illinois, Georgia played Charlotte, Ole Miss played the Citadel. I mean, a lot of teams. No, not Ole Miss. Was it Oklahoma? Who played the Citadel? I can't remember, but he shouldn't have said that. That was dumb because you might play that team in the playoff. But I still think Oregon's got a really good team. And, they beat Penn State at Penn State. That win looks like nothing now. But at the time, Penn State was third in the country. So
I'll give you that. At the time, right? At the time,
they won at Iowa. They beat USC at home by 15.
I know what I'm doing.
So, I mean, the schedule's not been too tough, but I still think they're really good.
All right, so I'll find the quote here. You see me looking down because I'm showing everybody my bald head there, but I'm going to find the quote and I'll play it for you here in a second. So then, who'd you put at number 1? I put Texas Tech at number 1. Who did you put at number 1?
I put Georgia. They're just playing really well right now. I was not high on him coming to the year. I thought they really should have lost to Tennessee. They got that win. Only lost this year at Alabama. They beat Ole Miss. They're playing really well right now. They're a team like no one wants to play going into the playoff.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that they're not playing really well. I just think, and again, I'm really shocked that you didn't put the defensive team up higher than that. It's there we go. I've got it here, so we'll have to get this ready here.
Another thing with Texas Tech, the polls are strange. I just looked it up. They're 5th in the coaches poll, 7th in the AP poll. It says it sound like only 2 spots, but 2 spots, top 7 is a lot. So the coaches agree more with you that they should be higher than that. We'll see. I just don't know. I'd love to see them in the SEC schedule or Big Ten schedule. I would love that. I just don't know how good they really are.
And, I'll give you that. It's the same way with ASU. It's the same way with a couple of these other teams, even Ole Miss to a certain extent, even Oregon, honestly, to a certain extent. It's like, okay, you're not in the SEC. You haven't faced all the big guys for 4 or 5 years in a row now, like what Georgia and Alabama have. So let's see what you're made of. Let's see what you're going to be doing when it gets to this college football playoff. And I know you're not a big fan of the 12 team, but that's why I'm a big fan of the 12 team. I want to see these guys all go, and I want to see them play against each other. And I want to be able to say at the end of it all, who's the best? And I think we're going to get that this year. It's going to be interesting.
You know what? I'm telling you right now, in 5 years, it'll be 24.
I'm not going to say you're wrong because it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing.
Yep.
But that's
top 8 will get buys. It's going to be 24.
Yeah. That's another topic for another day. So.
And then you're going to have an 8-4 Big Ten or SEC team be like the 23 seed.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying no to you. I just don't think it's going to happen right away. You said what, like 4 years from now? 5 years?
4 or 5 years, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Okay. What's going to happen is this year could be a problem. There's going to be so many 10-2 teams, and 1 or 2 get in, the other 3 get left off. And one of those teams, maybe like Miami, might get left off. They beat Notre Dame, even though their resume is worse than Notre Dame's. We beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame got in ahead of us, and then they're like, well, we need more teams in. That's what happens when there was 2. People wanted 4. When there was 4, people wanted 8 or 12, went to 12. Like everyone's going to keep playing. Eventually, it's just do the 64. We'll just do like basketball.
Well, they don't even do that, right? Now they're doing this. They had 64, and that wasn't good enough, so they had to have this play-in game, right?
Oh,
and, I don't know. It's
ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole thing is ridiculous. You got to cap it off
games.
eventually.
If it's 64, you have to win 6 more football games after the season ends.
Okay, here we go. All right, so now let's look at our poll question. Again, here it is. Okay. It's who is the best one-loss team? You had Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and Oregon you could choose from. Thank you guys responding to us really, really highly. We got 142 votes, and almost 2,000 people at least looked at it, but just not all of them voted. So we appreciate both those numbers. You're letting us know as we keep growing that you guys are actually paying attention to us. And, maybe we'll do another show next week. In fact, we'll do another show tomorrow, but more on that in a minute. So at 12%, Ole Miss was at 12%. So I guess my team's not at the very bottom now. So at 12.7%, thanks for that last minute vote there. They got him out of the tie, right? So whoever that was, I appreciate it. Texas Tech at 12.7%. A lot of people on this poll will agree with you, sir. And they put Oregon at 16.9%. But the runaway favorite of these 4 in this poll was Georgia. And Georgia got, are you ready for this? I'm shocked. I'm not shocked they won, but I'm shocked they won by this much. 58.5% of the people said Georgia is the best one-loss team. Now, I've got this is on the fly here, right? So I've got it on the phone. I'm going to put it up by the microphone real fast. Do you want to say something before I play the Oregon cut?
No, go ahead.
All right, so it's 51 seconds of Dan Lanning talking about Oregon, and I was wrong on both things. I said Alabama, then I think I said Georgia. He's actually cracking on USC because that's who they played last week. So here we go. I'll play this, and I want you to react to it if you haven't heard it yet.
Okay.
Laser focus. Win your one-on-one matchup. Seniors, this game we're all putting on the line for you. It's a DNA game. Connection, toughness, growth, sacrifice. It shows up right here. And in this fight, as they get a little bit tired, we say one more round. After we hit a big play, we say one more round. Right? After they start to bleed, we say one more round. Really simple. For the seniors in this room, you get an opportunity to lay it on the line. They're living off their history. Matt Leinart, he ain't walking through there. Reggie Bush ain't going to show up. But I'll tell you who he is. Dante Moore's going to show up. Bryce Spencer going to show up. Poncho going to show up. Blake Purchase going to show up. You got the warriors necessary to go walk out there and deliver. Understand something. Why are you wearing black? You're going to a Trojan funeral.
All right, a couple of interesting spots in there, right? Reggie Bush ain't showing up. Matt Leinart's not showing up. What do you think about him saying stuff like that?
Well, I mean, he's just trying to fire his team up. I don't think it's anything bad. I don't know how it got leaked, but he's just trying to fire his team up. That's motivation. I thought he was going to say something about their schedule and rip them as like their program or something.
He did do that later in the press, in the press game one, where he said, something like we didn't play whatever state it was or something like that. But again,
USC started with Missouri State and Georgia Southern. That's how they started their season. They blew them both out. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they played at Notre Dame non-conference. So they were playing Notre Dame. So you can't say they had such an easy schedule. They played Iowa, Oregon, Michigan. They beat Michigan by 18 points. Illinois. So they played a bunch of ranked teams. So it's not like they played a cupcake schedule.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're just higher on Oregon than I am. I'm not going to be surprised when they lose in the first round of the college football playoff. I'll just put it to you that way.
I don't think they will, but we'll see.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to do that game, and we'll see which one.
Let's see who they play. You never. I want to see who they play first. Like I thought Tennessee was going to win their first round game going into it, and they're like, "Oh, they're at Ohio State." I'm like, "Yeah, they're going to get killed."
Yeah. Right. The draw was very important.
Yeah.
You talked about that on your one of your podcasts last week, I believe, how important the draw is. If you guys haven't got a chance to see that, go over to what's your YouTube account, sir?
It's at Football with Cheese. Cheese spelled like on the screen, CAGEZ. And I've done 2 videos this week. One about the Chicago Bears, how they're so overrated, not nearly as good as a record. Also, I did a video today about J.J. McCarthy, what a mess he is, how he's just really struggling, and what the Vikings should go forward. And, there's a bunch of games this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Anything crazy happens, I might do instant reaction, so make sure you do subscribe to my channel because you never know. If anything crazy, I will go do an instant reaction.
All right. So our second one here, and we're going to kind of rush through this a little bit because I think people care, but I think people don't care all at the same time, right? We're going to look at these bowl eligible teams. A lot of these teams are like 5-6 records, and if they win, they become 6-6. And as probably most everybody that's watching this channel knows, once you get to be 500, you are then bowl eligible. Now, that bowl eligibility can really bring in some money for your organization. And the other thing it does, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about, is you are going to watch every one of these bowl games, right?
No.
That was not the answer I was expecting.
I watched about half the bowl games last year. I only watched the ones that there was a prospect I wanted to see. A lot of them, or I just was interested in the teams. But there's a lot of them I just did not check out.
Okay, but well, here's what I'm leading to, right? If you don't, a lot of these teams are not going to be seen whatsoever, and a lot of these prospects aren't going to be seen whatsoever unless you happen to watch this bowl game, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, we talk about Heisman moments. Well, you might have a draft moment to where you go from undrafted and nobody's talking about you to maybe you get drafted. And I'm not saying you're going in the first round, but maybe you'll go in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round. And you can actually get on a team. You can get on a practice squad. You can get yourself some money. And that's a whole lot better than having to graduate from whatever college you are and just crossing your fingers. And that degree really works out for you, right?
I think a team from maybe like the MAC or the American Conference or something like that, if they play a Big Ten, ACC, SEC school, Big 12 like that, and they have a huge game, absolutely, because we did it against a Power 4 team. I think those can help, but I think a lot of prospects now, it's kind of an exhibition game, like the opposite. So say, for example, Louisville plays like a MAC school, right? Okay. Well, Louisville player goes off. I don't think they're going to move him up the draft board because it's a MAC school. You know what I mean? But it can help some of these smaller conference players for sure if they shine against a Power 4 opponent.
All right, so let's kind of run through these real quick. Let's start with the American Conference. You got Army. They're 5-5, and they play the University of USTA, which is, let's see here.
Or is it UT? It's UTSA. It's University of Texas, San Antonio.
Here you go. I was dyslexic for a moment in my notes. All right.
Yeah.
And then they also play Navy. So UTSA 6-5, Navy's 8-2. If they win one of those games and lose one, then they still go 6-6. So they could do it. I know you talked about Rice a little bit because one of your teams clobbered Rice last week, but they are still 5-6. They do play South Florida. That's a pretty big team to try to beat in order to go 6-6. You're shaking your head. I'm with you. I don't think Rice can do it. Temple has to play North Texas, who's 10-1 and currently ranked number 21.
Temple's going to get killed.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Temple can do it either. Let's move to the Big 12 for a second, right? Kansas State is 5-6, and they play the 3-8 Colorado Buffaloes. Now, it is in Colorado, but I would think Kansas State could win that game and then become bowl eligible.
Kansas State is way better than 5-6, way better than the record. I don't know how they're so bad or how that record is so bad, but yeah, they should win.
All right. Kansas is in the same boat. They're 5-6, but they play a 9-2 Utah team to close out the season.
Very unlikely, but they get it home, but very unlikely they beat Utah. They just can't match up. They can't stop Utah. They're going to give them a ton of points.
All right. I agree with you. Baylor is 5-6 and Houston's 8-3. Those two teams played. Baylor with the win can go 6-6 and possibly get a lower bowl.
Baylor is really disappointing, just like Kansas State. I thought they were at least 7-8 win teams, but Houston hasn't been playing well, so Baylor's got a shot.
Okay. And then I think I did it to this one again. It's not UFC. I don't know why I think Dana White's out there playing, but it's UCF. I did write UFC on my notes. They're playing BYU, of course. BYU 10-1. I don't think they're beating BYU this weekend, and BYU needs to win.
No, they're not going to win at BYU. No way.
All right. Conference USA, as we keep going right down the line, I love this. The only reason I included them is because of their mascot name. Man, I think I want to go to Delaware just because it's the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. I don't know. They fight in their blue.
You just like it because Joe Flacco went there. That's what you like.
Did he really?
Yeah, he went to Delaware.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, look at that. See, Cheese is dropping all kinds of knowledge on us today. So the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens, I had to say it one more time, they're 5-6, and they play the UTEP Miners, and they're 2-9. So Delaware can more than likely get to where they're 6-6 and then become bowl eligible. So I think that might be a team that you may look at and be like, oh, well, here we go. Maybe they can get themselves up and put together. Oh, hang on. I want to apologize. We've had a couple comments here, and I haven't clicked them. That's completely my fault. I've been doing other stuff, but that's, So,
you got a lot going on.
Yeah, well, still. Raman's been sitting there for a while with her comment. She's probably thinking that I don't like her. And we found out a couple weeks ago it is a her. So it's nothing against you. We still love our fans. And then we've got a second comment up here.
He calls me Chivas. That's his nickname.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you've got more than one nickname, sir.
I got tons. Chivas, Chibi, Cheebs. Yeah. Cheese somehow became lots of different things.
Okay. Well, Gouda. Well, never mind. Okay. So again, we'll stick with that's the Conference USA. Let's go to the Mid-American. The Buffalo Bulls, not Bills. The Buffalo Bulls are 5-6, and they play the Ohio Bobcats. I don't know much about either of these two teams. Do you know anything about these two teams, sir?
Yeah, Ohio should win pretty comfortably, but you never know. But again, whenever you're 5-6, there's just got to be a little more motivation to get to that bowl.
Yeah,
but
I agree. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, right. But I think Ohio will take that one.
No, and I mean, I don't want to knock that off to the side. I really agree with that. I mean,
no.
They're not going to the college football playoff. They're not doing any of that kind of stuff. The one thing that they can do at the end of their season is get to 500 and then get in a bowl game. So I think this is really important to a lot of these teams, like the Pac-12. They only have two teams in the Pac-12. It should be the Pac-2 right at the moment, but they play each other. So Washington State is 5-6, and Oregon State is 2-9. So hopefully Washington State can get there. I don't know if people will pick them up or not because of this whole Pac-12 thing, but what do you think about that?
Well, Washington State's fascinating because they were awful early in the season. Then they almost beat Virginia. They played Ole Miss better than most SEC teams have played Ole Miss. So they have really improved throughout the season. They didn't know what to do. They lost so many players last year. So the beginning of the year, they were bad. But, yeah, I think they win easily against Oregon State and get bowl eligible. And whoever they play, they're probably going to win that bowl because they're much better than 6-6.
All right. So this is a team to look out for then is what you're saying to us.
Oh, absolutely. They outplayed Virginia. Virginia won by 2, but they completely outplayed Virginia in that game. And Virginia's 9-2.
All right, we're going to move on to the Sun Belt here. The Georgia Southern Eagles, they're 5-6, and they play the Marshall Thundering Herd. I mean, the Sun Belt has great names. They don't have great teams, but they got great mascot names over there. You got the Georgia Southern Eagles and the Marshall Thundering Herd, and both of them are 5-6. Who do you think is going to emerge victorious there, sir?
Yes,
one of them.
Give me Marshall. We are Marshall.
Okay. The Appalachian State Mountaineers will go up against the Arkansas State Red Wolves. They're not just wolves, sir. They are Red Wolves. And both of them are 5-6. So one of them is going to become bowl eligible, either Appalachian State or Arkansas State.
Give me Arkansas State.
All right. You know what? I'll take Appalachian State just because I remember them beating that crappy team up north that we'll talk about in a little bit. So they beat them once. So, yeah, we'll give them the edge.
I watched that game. That was crazy.
And again, going back to the great names, the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns are 5-6, and they will take on the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. We're still in the Sun Belt. These guys have got great names, sucky teams.
Yeah, rivalry game. They don't like each other.
Nope.
Give me the Cajuns.
Okay. The Texas State Bobcats are the last game here in the Sun Belt. Texas State Bobcats are 5-6, and they'll take on the South Alabama Jaguars at 4-7.
Give me South Alabama with the upset.
Ooh, look at this, calling the upset. All right, so we've gone through all of those smaller schools. Let's go to a team that's going to be playing, two teams that are going to be playing in the Big Ten. I think this is a big game for these two programs, not necessarily on Saturday, but moving forward. I'd love to get your take on this, and I'm sure we are going to. Penn State faces Rutgers Saturday, and you can watch it on the Big Ten Network. What does a win mean for either of these two teams, knowing, sir, that both of them are 5-6 and only one of them can be bowl eligible?
Well, it means a lot for Rutgers, I think. Not just getting bowl eligible, just beating Penn State, having that win against Penn State. Penn State's not going to have years like this most years. Most years they're going to be ranked the entire year. So Rutgers just really for bragging rights. We beat Penn State. So I don't think they're going to. I think Penn State's going to win. But I think the bowl eligibility thing is less important than Rutgers saying we beat Penn State. And Penn State just not losing to Rutgers, same thing. I think that's more important, actually, than the bowl eligibility thing in this matchup.
Okay, but I have to say, and I've seen it, I actually like it. I know, I'm a big Ohio State guy, and I know Penn State is a rival of ours, and I don't necessarily love to see Penn State do well, but I've seen how the student body and the fans have rallied around this new coach, cheering his name as he's coming off the field and everything else. I like the story. I like some of the stuff that he said in post-game interviews and stuff. So I almost want to see Penn State do this just because of the coach.
Yeah, he's not going to be the coach going forward, but it's good. I mean, they could have just, complained, how dare you? Penn State always wins. We always win at least 10 games. So it is pretty cool that they have done that.
So even if he beats Rutgers and goes to a smaller bowl and wins that, you still don't think he's going to be the coach at Penn State next year?
They're going to aim much higher than that. They're going to aim high. And it's going to be a job a lot of people want because they have more talent than their record. It's Penn State. It's, typically top 15 every year.
But who's left? I mean, unless you go poach somebody, who's left?
You got to poach someone or possibly an NFL coordinator, possibly a coordinator on a really good team. Who knows?
Okay, I didn't think about that avenue. All right.
Remember they poached Bill O'Brien in the past. So I don't know. I don't really have any names, but they're going to aim high.
Okay. And I did see earlier where it looks like the North Texas coach is going to go, I believe, to Arkansas and be their next head coach. So they're already looking at some of these smaller teams are already trying to get their claws into people before the big teams do it as soon as they're done with all these different playoff games.
North Texas is on the cusp of maybe making the college football playoff, and then they hear these news. It's just awful.
Stab them in the heart, right?
It's just the way. It's the way it is. It's not going to change anytime soon.
All right. So overall, but one of these two teams does have to win. So that will give the Big Ten 12 of their 18 teams that are bowl eligible. So what does that do for the Big Ten Conference overall? And let me give you some of the numbers here. So the SEC, the most they can get is 11, and that's if Kentucky beats Louisville, and that's probably not going to happen, at least I don't think it is. And then the Big 12 right now only has 9 guaranteed teams going into the week. So with the Big Ten having the most at 12, what does that say for that conference overall?
I don't think it says too much. Maybe it's just, a little bit deeper than we thought, but I don't think it's really that much different. If 7 or 8 teams are making it, that's concerning, but I don't think there's much difference, 11 or 12, but, just probably a little deeper than probably people thought.
Okay. Got it. Let's move on to the very last thing that we're going to do here, which is winners, losers. And instead of saying what game we're looking forward to, we're going to talk more about that on our rivalry show, which will be tomorrow. Tell us those times again, sir.
It's going to start at noon Eastern, 11 Central.
All right.
The cool time, because that's when I am. 10 Mike Ballantyne time.
Right. Also at least the 10, time with the best hair is 11.
Yes. Or 10 Mountain Time and 9 Pacific.
Okay.
So make sure you check out. We'll go live. We'll talk. We were talking about 30 minutes, but it's going to take, I looked at the notes. It's going to take 45 minutes at least. 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
tomorrow.
I'm glad you came around to my side because you said while we were talking earlier, you were like, yeah, a half hour. And I was like, no.
Not with all the rivalries we're going to mention. So
Yeah, not with all
it's
them.
going to be cool. But we're going to break down the rivalries, talk about, we'll preview this week. Just a lot of huge games with a lot of make or break for the playoff.
Yeah, and not just rivalry games that mean a lot to them. We're going to talk about the trophies. We're going to talk about what it means in the college football playoff. I mean, we're really going to dive into this with several games. We're going to look at some crazy stats. We're going to look at the trophies. I mean, we're going to do a lot of stuff. So join us tomorrow, depending on where you're at, as to what time it will be, either noon, 11, or 10, right?
Or 9 if you live in California, Oregon, or Washington.
Gosh, there's another one? I can't keep all this straight. I'm glad we've got you here,
Bully.
sir.
Yeah, it's 9 a.m. for Bully time. We'll just call it that. He lives in Washington State. There we go.
All right, sounds good. All right, so last week's winner. I'm going to say last week's winner was Oklahoma. What they did over Missouri and everything else, they kind of made that trifecta as far as I'm concerned. It was one thing if they could beat three of those teams, but then they ended up beating 4 of them. And it's like, okay, Oklahoma's for real now. And I think that they cemented their spot in the college football playoff with that win. So I'm going to say Oklahoma was the biggest winner last week. Who would you put as the biggest winner of last week, sir?
Oklahoma has won at Alabama and at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams do that in the same year?
Very few.
Very, very few. Okay, my biggest winner. I have 2 here, but let's just say Pitt. So Pitt dominated Georgia Tech, absolutely dominated that game.
Yeah.
And they're still alive for the ACC title. A lot has to happen. They need Virginia or SMU to lose, and they have to beat Miami. So it is tough, but they kept their chances alive and dominated Georgia Tech team that was having a great year. So Pitt looked amazing. And you got to mention BYU. Cincinnati has kind of class, but still they won by 2 scores on the road at Cincinnati. So big win for BYU.
Sorry, that was mine. I know you heard it. I saw your eyes. That was my phone vibrating.
Yeah, it wasn't mine. But now BYU, all they have to do is beat Central Florida. They're 11-1, and they are in the Big 12 championship game. And I think, if you watch my college football video, that if you're 11-1 in the regular season in the Big 12, you should definitely make the playoff. So I think they, have a great chance to make it.
All right. We're going to do our lights out list here in just a little bit, which is our version of the top 10. We are going to do the top 10 free agent pitchers. And I don't know how Cheese is going to do it, probably the whole eye test thing. But I've got stats galore on these pitchers here in just a little bit.
Wait, did you do pitchers total or just starting pitchers?
I did just starting pitchers because that's what
you
put
so
on
did
the
I.
thing.
So did I. Okay, I didn't put relievers. Okay.
No, I didn't go relievers.
Okay.
I just did starters.
Okay.
So then we're going to do that here in just a few moments as we end the show. And then I will tell you that when we do our show live tomorrow, our college football rivalry show, we're going to do another lights out list. And that will be the 10 most important games of the weekend in college football. I'm hoping you noticed that I switched that a little bit because I believe when I sent it to you, I said the 10 best rivalry games. We're going to do the 10 best games over the weekend.
Oh, that's much easier. That's
yes.
a much easier list.
Yeah, I decided to do it a little easier because I was, we'll talk about it off air, but there we go. All right, so those are our 2 that we're going to do now. The losers from last week. This was not hard for me whatsoever. The loser last week was Illinois. I was frustrated with them. I really thought they were a better team than this, and they end up laying an egg, did Illinois, and they've really hurt their chances. I mean, not that I thought they were going to make it to the college football playoff or anything like that, but I thought maybe they would be right up there in one of those bigger bowl games. And now I think that's really in jeopardy too. So Illinois laid the egg and lost this past week. I think they were the biggest loser.
Yeah, what about you? They didn't just lose to Wisconsin, who's been awful this year. They lost 27-10.
Yeah,
I mean, that's embarrassing. Yeah, so I didn't use that one because you used it. There weren't a lot of losers, actually, believe it or not, because a lot of people just played cupcakes. But I'm going to pick a winner as my loser.
Oh, well, this should be interesting.
For 2 reasons. 1, because they didn't look good, and 2, because teams ahead of them won. Utah is my biggest loser. They were losing the whole game to Kansas State at home. Kansas State, like you said, is 5-6. They should have lost. there was a fluky play where Kansas State's going for 2 to go up 14. There's a flag on the play, but it's intercepted, returned for a 2-point conversion. So instead of being up 12 or 14 if they got it, it's a 10-point game. And that ended up being huge. It's almost like they threw a flag on the play and then was intercepted for a touchdown. It's like, oh, no, let's help Utah out. Pick the flag up. Real strange. I'm sure Kansas State fans are livid. So Utah, 51-47 points, ended up being huge in the game. Kansas State did not have time to go get a touchdown. They could have gotten a field goal if that 2-point conversion was, if they called that penalty. But also BYU and Texas Tech won. And to me, Utah, even if they beat Kansas, very likely will at 10-2, they're not making the college football playoff on my team. They're not going to pass all these other 2-loss teams. So to me, despite winning, Utah just didn't look good. I think they're the biggest loser.
Okay. I can give you some. I'm glad you brought this game up because I was trying to figure out where to throw these stats in because I was watching a couple programs and there were some crazy stats from that game. Utah actually trailed in that game for 34 minutes and 56 seconds of it total. So they were down almost the entire game. They gave up 47 points, but they scored 51 points. And it's the 4th time this season, by the way, that Utah has scored 50-plus points. The 4th time this season. I would love to have seen Utah and Ohio State go at it, the team that scores a ton of points and the team that doesn't give up hardly any points, and see which one would have broke there. But that's never going to happen, as you've said. And then Devon Dampier, I believe his first name's Devon, right? Isn't that how you say it?
Yeah, either Devin or Devon. I'm not sure which one, but
I'm not sure which one it is either. Yeah. He went 18 of 33 for 259 yards and 2 touchdowns, which doesn't sound real impressive. But he also had 14 rushes for 94 yards and 2 more touchdowns with his legs. So a really good spot there by him. I took some notes down when I was watching another show, and I was like, "How am I going to do this?" And you gave it to me, sir. So I
not a lot of defense in that game. Not a lot of defense.
Not a lot of defense in that game.
It was a fun game. Kansas
it actually
State
was.
Also,
I watched it.
Yeah, Kansas State. They could have gone for that 4th down in their own territory. They probably should have, but they punted. And it's like you can't punt. Your defense can't stop anything. You can't punt, and they did. So yeah.
Okay, so I only worked one shift on Saturday, so I got to come home and watch some college football for a change. I usually work a double, and by the time I get home, I'm just like, I'm going to bed. Then I get up on Sunday morning and watch some of it. So I actually got to watch more college football this Saturday than I will. And then I'm off this coming Saturday, of course, for rivalry week. So not that I timed that just right or anything like that, but I wanted to make sure I watched the game, and we'll talk about that.
Who knows?
Tomorrow.
Maybe Mike wants to go do an instant reaction, go live after the game.
Maybe that's something that we might do. You and I talked about doing a college football game together, and then somebody in this room that has really nice hair, and it's not me, decided that we weren't going to do that. So I don't know.
It's opposite another game. We'll do another game in the future, but if you want, let me know if you want to react to the Michigan Ohio State game. If you want to react, I'll just be watching football. So.
Okay, sounds good. Maybe we'll do that, a reaction video to the game. All right, so we usually do our what games we're looking forward to, but we'll do that on the show tomorrow, so let's not give that away. But I do want to do this. I've always wanted to do this every week, but I always take it out because we end up going way too long with the podcast. It's over an hour right now, but we're going to look at upset alerts. And I've got 2, Cheese. I'll take the first one, and then if you don't use that one, I'll take that second. Actually, I take it back. I have 3. 3 upset alerts that I think could really happen this week. I want to go with the first one here because, man, I watched this game on Saturday. I watched this young quarterback just scamper all over the field. And that play he made to go up like 21-0 was fantastic as he almost high-stepped into the end zone. That was, of course, Pitt. And then this week, Pitt plays Miami. I'm going to tell you, I think that's an upset. Pittsburgh will beat Miami this weekend.
Wow. Okay. Probably colder weather.
Mm-hmm.
I could absolutely see that happening. And Pitt probably has more. Miami's not getting in the ACC title game. It's like 0.04% or something. Like it's pretty much impossible. So Pitt has probably more to play for. They can still get in. They need some help. So yeah, I could absolutely see that happening. Especially the way they played last week. Yeah, so I have one that I don't know if you thought this one, but on Friday,
Mhm.
we talked about this rivalry games. We've seen some crazy upsets. Anything can happen. It motivates teams. And there's a team in the SEC, you mentioned bowl-eligible teams, that is 5-6. And they have, to me, are better than 5-6. They're only 1-6 in the SEC. They almost beat Tennessee. They almost beat Florida. They lost to Texas by 7. They beat Arizona State. You know, they're pretty good. They're better than 5-6. And Mississippi State host at home against Ole Miss. Ole Miss better watch out. I'm just saying, do I think it'll happen? Probably not. But that could be down to the wire game. I think it's going to be really close. And I think Mississippi State's got a real good chance to pull the upset over Ole Miss and send the college football playoff into chaos.
Well, we'll talk about this a little more tomorrow, but I think that game has the potential to be one of the better games of all of these rivalry games as far as the entertainment value goes. I think like you do, that Mississippi State's going to give Ole Miss a run. Now, whether they'll win or not is another story, but I think that'll be a good game. We will hear tons of cowbells. I guarantee it.
Real quick, I know one you're going to say. Can I predict it, or you?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Do it.
You think Oregon may lose in Husky Stadium?
I think Oregon will lose.
Oh, okay. I disagree, but go ahead.
Well, no, Washington is a better team than what people are giving them credit for. I do know that it's in Oregon. Washington has more to. I think Washington has more to play.
It's in
for.
Washington. It's in Husky Stadium in Washington.
Oh, is it in Washington? Well,
yeah, it's a road game.
Well, now I really know who's going to win. I just think, and I love Dan Lanning. I really, really do. I also saw. We didn't mention this earlier. Maybe we'll do it for the next 30 seconds. But I did see that because he got 10 wins, he got an extra year added to his contract. That's in the verbiage of his contract. So go over to our X page at All Gloves Off SM, and the details are there in the post, so you can see that. I think Dan Lanning's just running his mouth a little bit too much. I think he's getting a little bit too cocky. And I understand what I played earlier was him motivating his kids. And honestly, that's what I love about Dan Lanning. But then after the game is over, you need to be humble and you need to not call people out. I think when you start doing that, you're setting yourself up for a possible sneak attack. And I think Washington might be the team that comes up and bites them in the butt. So I'm going to go Washington over Oregon. And believe it or not, I've still got another one.
Go ahead, do another one.
So Illinois got absolutely thrashed last week.
Mm-hmm.
They looked terrible. And honestly, this looks to me like a team that's fallen apart. It looks to me like a team that's not playing together. The coach doesn't seem to have this team whatsoever. And now they're going to be playing Northwestern. Can Northwestern beat Illinois and knock them completely out of the top 25 and really bust their bubble? That's my stretch one, but I'm still going to go. I'm going to take all three of these, and I'm going to say I'm going to win at least two of them. I think. Let us know what you think. Comment right now. There's almost 50 of you listening to us live. Go ahead and do so. Tell us what you guys think.
I think Illinois is just going to be able to score a lot of points on Northwestern. So but I'm going to give you a Thanksgiving one.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm a little surprised. It is in Memphis, but Memphis is favored by 5.5 over Navy. They're playing on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised. I thought that'd be more like a pick'em, like a toss-up. I think Navy's a little better. So watch out for Navy to go to Memphis and get the win. And plus, Navy is still in the college football playoff discussion. So watch out for that one too. Those are my two.
Just a couple of notes that I've got over here when we were talking about those bye week, the ones that were going to be bowl eligible. Army, we talked about Army in the very beginning. They got to play UTSR and Navy, but Army is the 7th best rushing team in FBS, by the way. Baylor, even though you said they were disappointing, and I agree with you, they've been disappointing. They are the 8th best passing team. Here we go. I get to say their name again. Well, wait a minute. Let me go to Texas State first. They're 25th in run yards per game. And then this team is 13th in passing yards, believe it or not. And I can't wait to say their name again. Let me make sure I get it right. Hold on. The Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. Yes. They are the 13th best passing team in all of FBS. So just a few things for you to look out for. I'm not a betting guy. I know you're not a betting guy, but we'll give our people some things to look at and maybe some lines to stare at before they.
I'll go one more. I'll go one more.
Go ahead.
San Jose State upsets Fresno State. Spread's only 3.5, so it's not a huge leap. But Danny Scudero, wide receiver, San Jose State, he's an absolute stud. Fresno State has trouble with him. Really fun to watch. San Jose State, the matchup of the week. Everyone's going to be talking about. No, they're not. But anyway, that's my call.
All right. So you're going with San Jose State. I'm sorry, I've got
Beat
my arm
Fresno
over top
State.
of the microphone.
Yes, to get to 4 wins. They're only 3-8.
I moved some stuff around on my setup here, so I'm trying to figure out if I like it or not.
I really don't know a ton about those teams. I just really like that wide receiver for San Jose State, so I'm calling the upset.
Wow. So where do you think he's going to let's talk about that wide receiver for a second. Where's he going to fall in? What round of the draft do you think he's going to fall in? I know I'm putting you on the spot right now.
I honestly, he's undersized, more of a slot receiver type, and I don't even know if he's coming out this year. So I don't know.
So then why do you like him so much?
Because he's fun to watch. He's so dynamic. He's just an absolute stud. He's a sophomore, so he is not eligible. I just looked it up. But, yeah, he's got 84 catches for 1,234 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he's just an absolute monster after the catch.
All right. So he'll be at least a number 2 receiver coming out because Jeremiah Smith will be number 1. So he'll be at least a number 2 guy.
He might be a redshirt sophomore, but he'll stay. I don't think he's coming out, but he's someone to watch for next year's draft. Danny Scudero.
All right. Excellent. We like these tidbits that you're giving us, buddy. So why you're here, man. I wouldn't know any of this stuff.
I'm the guy staying up watching those games at 10 at night. You know, what game's on, and that's how I saw him. You know, so yeah.
Excellent. Okay, cool. We appreciate it. We're going to get more into that. I mean, I'm not going to take away too much from Cheese's channel because I know he does a lot of the NFL prospects, but I'll pick his brain and we'll get some of those on the Lights Out Sports podcast as well. So stay tuned to both us here at Lights Out Sports, where you can get us over on YouTube, and you can get us now on Spotify and on Apple as Cheese takes a sip from the Green Bay mug.
Yep,
and then you can, of course, go over to Cheese's channel. Where are you at on X? And tell us where you are on YouTube as we get ready to go into our MLB 4-pitch talk.
At Football with Cheese on YouTube. Like I said, I could react to any game this week. Thursday, Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday. We're probably going to do a Saturday one, is my guess, unless it goes really bad. And on X at Football Cheese. So basically same thing without the width.
All right, excellent. That is a great segue because we are now going to jump into MLB 4-pitch talk. Here comes the guitar. All right, so we are going to talk about the Dodgers. We're going to talk about the trade that happened earlier this week. There was actually 2 trades. We're going to do both of them and break them down a little bit. We're going to look at the Colorado Rockies for a change. Yes, they made a decision on something, and we're going to talk about that if anybody cares. And then we're going to look at the 2025 MLB. Did you like that, did you? The 2025 MLB top 5 free agents at third base and at catcher. And I've got a little bit of breaking news from one of the catchers. He's not been signed, but there's a team out there that's saying they're in the mix for him. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. But let's start with the Dodgers, if you will, please, Cheese. So according to the X account at Dodgers Nation, that's at Dodgers with an S Nation. Follow it if you don't. We do. The Dodgers do not want Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, or Roki Sasaki.
You can just say the last names next time.
Yeah. To pitch for Japan in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. They're coming out and saying, we don't want that to happen. So I've got a few follow-up questions for you here. And let's start with this as we turn this music off in the background. A, how much say should the Dodgers, MLB, and the Japanese team have. So if you got these three entities, right, you got the Dodgers, you've got MLB, and you've got the Japanese team. Where do you put the percentages at? Who should have the most say between Dodgers, Major League Baseball as a whole, and that Japan team?
Dodgers should have the most say. It's about winning championships, not an exhibition tournament is basically what it is. I don't think Japan has their season. I think Japan is right in the middle of their season.
Mm-hmm.
It's before, so that gives them an advantage because their pitchers, they're right in the middle of the season, so the batters and pitchers are right in their groove. So it does give them, I think, an advantage. And I think, Dominican and Venezuela and America baseball players haven't even started their season. But no, I don't think teams should make people that you can't do it unless they put it in some kind of contract. But I don't want Braves or Cubs players playing in it. I want them in spring training.
Right.
I don't want them playing in that. I want them getting the reps with their teammates. But
they can get reps right alongside other people in those games. I mean, I don't know how much you know about it, but I'm going to go and watch some of the games. I'll be asking you about that here in a moment because some of the spring training games out here will have some of those teams that will be in the World Baseball Classic. I know Japan will be here and Chinese Taipei is always out here. And it's kind of neat to be able to see like the Rockies go play them or the Cubs play them at Sloan Park or something like that. So, I mean, I think they're still going to get their reps. That's not really what I think they're concerned about. How about this? Let me go with the second question. Does it matter that Japan is the defending champion? Does that matter at all?
No, I didn't even know that. I saw the notes.
Japan is the defending champion.
No, I don't. Maybe it matters to Japan, but
okay, there you go. It matters to Japan, right?
Has America even ever won it?
No.
Yeah,
I don't believe so. I don't.
And I could care less.
So you don't care about this tournament at all?
No, none. I don't think they should even have it. Stupid. I want to win a World Series. I don't care about something that in MLB, it's so annoying. I don't like the year the World Baseball Classic happens because they just try to hype it up like it's the biggest thing, like it's the Olympics, and it's so annoying and it's pointless.
Yeah, but they have to do something because the baseball's not in the Olympics anymore. So this is the alternative that baseball came up with.
Honestly, I want my teams to win World Series. I don't care if America wins the World Baseball Classic. Not one bit.
But do you think the players care because they're playing for their countries?
If they join, then they do care. If they're volunteering to do it, of course they care. But there are a lot of players that don't volunteer to do it. And I respect that too.
Okay.
I'd be one of them.
So if we're going to say that it doesn't matter if Japan is the defending champion of the World Baseball Classic, then I guess you've also got to say that it doesn't matter if the Dodgers are World Series champions, right?
Here's the thing with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this could be any team. I know there's a lot of Dodgers hate, but any team. My pitchers pitched a lot of innings this year. They pitched throughout the postseason into Game 7 of the World Series.
Yep.
So I want to really manage their workload. And if they're in a World Baseball Classic, you have someone else managing their workload. So I understand why the Dodgers don't want them to play in it. I absolutely understand. It doesn't matter if it's Japan, Dominican Republic, America, Canada. Maybe Canada has a team. I don't know. They have enough players. Who knows? But, they bring maple syrup with them. So that's good.
Maple syrup and Joey Votto.
Yeah. Did that answer your question, or did you mean something else?
Well, I mean, I understand where you're going with it. This is the same place that I was going with it, right? Because, yes, you're 100% right. So I'll do what you suggested. Ohtani, Yoshinobu, and Sasaki.
Yamamoto.
Yamamoto. I said his first name, didn't I?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I
didn't even know his first name, so yeah. Okay.
I'm trying over here. Okay. So Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Roki Sasaki. There we go. Ooh, sounds nice like a bunch of dishes from. Anyway, I like Chinese food. I'm getting hungry now. So I get that they are with the Dodgers. I get that they played in the World Series, and you're 100% right. I mean, Sasaki came in and did meaningful innings to close out games. Ohtani pitched I want to say 5 or 6 games in the playoffs. And then shoot, we know Yamamoto came in and he did like back-to-back, like 8 or 9 inning games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I completely understand about the workload, but I'm also thinking that Japan says, okay, excuse me, that Japan is going to say, all right, if you want us to manage their workload, what do you want us to do? And they're going to get with the Dodgers and they're going to find out what it is. I would have.
They want to win. They may get with the Dodgers, but at the same time, they might just say, well, Yamamoto, he's pitched 5 innings, 1 hit. We're going to leave him in for a couple more. Oh, he's at 100 pitches. He can go 120. They want to win. Maybe, maybe not. And I just don't know. It's impossible to know. But as a Brave and Cub fan, I do not want my players. And I think Pete Crow Armstrong is playing for America. I don't like that. I don't want him to be. I want him to be in spring training.
Interesting. Okay. So some of the games will actually be in Houston, Texas, not too far from where you are. Will you go to any of those games?
Absolutely not. I'd much rather go to Arizona, visit Mike Ballantyne, and watch prospects in Arizona. I'd much rather watch Arizona Fall League. I'd much rather watch spring training than go to that.
All right. Well, you are welcome out here whenever you want, sir. There's a few other people I think who are going to take me up on this offer as well, and they're with the Red Hot Reds podcast. So I think Roger and Ricky are both going to come out. But
cool.
Whenever you want to come out, sir, there's a room open. It will be yours, sir.
Okay.
And
do you have cheese in your fridge?
I do.
Okay, good.
And if you
good.
Okay. And if you tick me off enough while I'm here, maybe at 3:00 in the morning, I'll chop up some more cheese and put him in the fridge. Anyway.
Wow, that got dark pretty quick.
That got dark quick, didn't it? Whew. All right.
You heard everyone. You heard him threaten violence. You heard it. If anything happens to me. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you heard it. It's on national television where, at least a few people are listening. MLB had 2 significant trades. Marcus Semien was traded over to the New York Mets, and then Brandon Nimmo came over. And Mauricio Dubon was traded for Nick Allen. I know that you're probably a little bit more with the second one that we spoke about because it's with your Atlanta Braves. So how about this? Which trade do you think will be most impactful for the teams that were involved, Semien and Nimmo or Dubon and Allen?
They're both so different. So they're both going to have let's just talk about Dubon and Allen real quick.
Sure.
The Astros save a little money. And Dubon – the Astros have a crowded infield, so he wasn't going to play much. He's going to play more in Atlanta. I don't love him as the shortstop, though. He's, below average bat. So they still need to upgrade the shortstop, but he can play shortstop. He can play a bunch of positions, and Braves need a player like that. So this trade makes sense, and the Astros wanted to save some money. And if Jeremy Pena gets hurt, they have Nick Allen that can fill in at shortstop. But the impactful one's going to be the Semien Nimmo because – now not the Angels. Why did I say Angels? Now the Mets have a spot in the outfield, and they probably will go after either Bellinger or Tucker. I think they probably will end up with one of them, in my opinion, because they have an open spot now in the outfield. It opens it up. So that I think, as far as the Mets goes, that's why they did this. They want to go after one of those outfielders.
All right,
and get a left-handed bat.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. But we'll talk about that. That'll be like a future thing that we'll talk about later. And when it happens, we'll point back to Cheese and kind of like when who was the guy that just signed with the Mariners that you predicted and it actually happened?
Josh Naylor.
Josh Naylor. Yes, sir. You nailed the Naylor trade. So, and if it ends up going to where the Mets sign one of those big free agent outfielders, then we'll tell you that you win that one too. So of the 4 players, you got Allen, Dubon, Nimmo, and Semien. Which one do you think will benefit more from their new spot?
Dubon, because he's going to play more in Atlanta than he would play in Houston. Houston needs outfield help. Their infield is so crowded. So he's just not going to play. So he has a chance right now to play more in Atlanta. So he benefits the most as far as playing time. And Semien and Nimmo, I don't know if either one of them benefits either way. Both of them are going downhill. But both of them are kind of going downhill, so yeah.
But I agree with you. I mean, yes, and this is what teams are supposed to do. whether you like the Astros or not, they trade from a strength and get something that they need. So they traded an infielder and got what they needed. So I think that was a great trade. And I think that'll be one of those trades. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it'll be one of those trades that works out pretty well for both teams. Atlanta seems to always target certain players, and then they go and get them early in this offseason.
They do.
Do you think that's smart or not, being the Atlanta Braves fan that you are?
When you do that, sometimes you overpay. I think they overpaid for Raisel Iglesias. I was surprised. I'll be a minute. I didn't watch a lot of the Braves the last 6 weeks of the season. I was watching other games. I was watching Cubs, but I was also watching, some better games. He actually finished strong. He actually had a better year than I thought. So I still think you overpaid him, but they had to keep someone. Pierce Johnson's gone. They had to keep someone in the back end of the bullpen. It's just a strategy. What I think they'll do is maybe sign another guy fairly soon and then just kind of wait and let the market go down and then sign some guys late. But, it's worked out for the past at times. Other times it hasn't. But they still need some bullpen help for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to talk about the strategy because I think it's interesting that they seem to just go out and they're always one of the first teams to make a trade. They're always one of the first teams to sign a free agent. And it's like they put people on their big board and they just go after them, where I think a lot of other teams put people on their board and then they're like, oh, well, if they happen to fall into our lap, then we'll pick them up. But if not,
talking about the Cincinnati Reds?
Yeah. Where Raisel Iglesias used to play. Yeah, used to be the closer for them. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so just to set this up at the end, we are going to do our lights out list, and that lights out list will be the top 10 free agent pitchers that are starting pitchers. Cheese and I will both do those lists here in a little bit, and I'm going to bank that our list will be really, really different. So we'll see how it's all going to hammer out, and then you guys can comment as well. Yeah, of course. All these lists are always different from us, right? That's one of the fun things about doing the list. Let's jump to the Colorado Rockies for a second. We won't spend too much time on them because nobody else is either. But Warren Schaefer is going to return as the manager of the Colorado Rockies.
Yes.
So in 2025, that was their 7th straight losing season, the Colorado Rockies. It's their 4th straight last place finish, and their 3rd straight finish with at least 100 or more losses in a row. When you think about all of this stuff, and now you're going to have this manager stay, what can a manager really affect when it comes to like terrible? I mean, it's the Colorado Rockies. Can the manager really affect a whole lot in Colorado?
No. Maybe you can maybe he's good at development. Maybe he's good with young guys. They're developing. Maybe he's just good at keeping the positive energy when you're losing. Maybe he's good at that. That's about all you can do. There's not one manager in Major League history that can win with this group. So you could just try to keep it positive. You could be a player's manager, and you could just be really good at maybe developing the young guys. That's about it. That's about all I can do.
All right, so let's talk about him for a moment. You brought this up, so let's go ahead and go into it here for a second. He was drafted by the Rockies in 2007, and he played until 2012. He never cracked the big league roster. Then he coached at high A, at double A, and at triple A, and he's very familiar with his organization and the players. Yeah. So as you're saying, the continuity is there, right? But there's always a but at the end of one of these sentences like this where you're talking up the guy, and now you're gonna slash his legs out from under him here. And the part that slashes his legs out from under him is he was 36 and 86 as the interim manager for the Rockies. Are the fans really going to be excited when you say, yes, we're bringing back our manager who was 36 and 86 because he knows these players and he's been with them for a long time and they all love him?
No, they're not going to be excited. Of course they're not. There's nothing about the organization right now to get excited. But there's a reason they brought him back. I don't know this for sure, but this is my theory. Okay. No one's going to take that job. No one's going to take that job. They could offer it to all the best candidates. No one wants it. So you have to pretty much keep him. As long as there's no issues, the players like him, everything's fine, then you have to keep him because you have to turn it around before you get a better manager. So they could offer it to any of the best candidates out there, throw money, and no one's taking the job because they're not going to win next year. They're not going to win the year after that. We'll see. 2020 and beyond, but they pretty much had to keep him.
So he's just a bridge till they get a better team, and then they go get a better coach.
Unless he ends up being amazing, yes, he is a bridge for a rebuilding team. A lot of managers do that. They're the manager when they start rebuilding, and then, oh wait, we're going to be good. Let's go get Joe. Comes like, okay, we're going to go Joe Madden. You know, oh yeah, we went through. Thanks for helping the rebuild. Oh, we're going to go get somebody else. You know, it's very common.
Yeah. Thanks, David Ross. We're going to go get
No, one David Ross was Rick Renteria.
I wish you get another spot to manage.
It was Dale Swaim and Rick Renteria. David Ross was after Joe Madden. It was Dale Swaim and Rick Renteria were the two managers.
That nobody knows about.
They helped with the rebuild. I think Theo Epstein hired them because they were good with young players in development. And then he wanted a new manager once they got good. Yeah.
All right. So the last thing here with Warren Schaefer and the Colorado Rockies. So they announced I believe it was Monday, that he's going to get a multi-year contract, but they didn't announce the terms. Do you like it when they go and they hire him? And this seems to only happen with managers. It never happens with players, but it happens with managers all the time. They're like, yep, we're going to bring him in for more than 1 year. And yeah, we're going to pay him a little bit of money, but we're not going to tell you how many years, and we're not going to tell you how much money we're going to pay him. Do you like that? I mean, are they protecting the manager? Are they protecting the team? What's the goal there with doing that?
I don't like it. I want to know. And more than likely, he's probably the worst paid manager in baseball, and they want to keep that quiet. They don't want to see how cheap they're being. That's what I think. But no, I don't like it. We should know all the contract terms. All the player contract terms end up being released because I think you have to. But manager, apparently you do not have to.
No, you don't.
You don't. But I think we should know. My guess is he's the 30th highest paid manager in baseball right now.
Yeah, he might be the 31st or 32nd. There might be some minor league people who are making more than him.
Possibly.
All right, so let's jump to the last thing here in our MLB 4-pitch talk, which is the 2025 MLB top free agents. We're doing this list. We've already done first base. We did second base and shortstop last week. And this week, there's not a ton of third basemen either who are out there who are really good and who can make a difference. So I went ahead and threw the two catchers that I thought were on this list too. So we're going to do 3 third basemen, which would be Bregman, Suarez, and I'm sorry, we're only going to do 2. That's right. We're only doing 4 this time.
Okay, good.
So Bregman and Suarez at third base. That's how terrible this market is in third baseman. Bregman, Suarez, and then we're going to do Realmuto. And we actually had to kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel for the catcher too and go with Victor Caratini. So we're going to do those 4 people. Let's start with Bregman. Let me kind of take this, and then you can comment on everything because you know me, I've got all these stats and stuff over here. So he's a good defender, and he's a good leader. He is a contact guy over exit velocity and over power. So he's not one of these guys who is trying to just swing with everything he's got every time. He's more of a contact guy. I'll bloop it into the outfield, and I'll get my hits that way. So I'll let you comment on him first, and then I'll tell you where I think he's going to go with the money, and you can do the same. Where do you think Bregman's going to go, Chief?
Yeah. Once again, I don't have the money, like I said, and I'll just say this: if Bo Bichette could end up playing third base somewhere, and if he does, then all of a sudden third baseman looks like a really strong free agent class if he plays third base. But
if he does, and he probably should, to be honest,
he should. And okay, so Bregman, the Cubs tried to sign him last year. I just want to say that. I don't think they're going to be interested this year. And the reason I say that is in the draft, he was the second overall pick that year, and the first was Dansby Swanson. It's like the Cubs could have had that on the infield. That's what they're trying to. But I think the Red Sox offered more money, or maybe just like an opt-out. I think that's why he went to Red Sox. But I think he leaves. The team that finished second last year, if you believe the rumors, was the Detroit Tigers. I think they go a little aggressive. I think the Tigers realize they need to go for it, and I think that's where he ends up.
Okay, I've seen a lot of different publications who say that. I don't think so, and this is why. There's a reason. So I don't think that Kyle Schwarber. I'm going to give away some of the stuff we're going to do later on, but I don't think Kyle Schwarber is going to re-sign with the Phillies. I think he's going to go somewhere else, and then when he does, I think the Phillies are then going to pivot. They're going to trade Their current third baseman, which, Alec Bohm, they don't seem to really like him a whole lot anyway.
The fans don't. The fans
right,
don't.
Right. So I think they're going to end up trading him, and they'll sign Alex Bregman. And of course, if you look at it, so Bregman is the Scott Boras client, right?
Yes.
So thumbs down to Scott Boras there. But Scott Boras put out there last year that he wanted $200 million for his client. And I think he's going to get it from the Phillies. 7 years, $200 million from the Phillies, because they're going to feel desperate when they lose Kyle Schwarber. They've got to have some power to go along with Bryce Harper.
Wow. I would not give him $200 million. Bregman's a very good player, but he's not like a great player at this point.
Yeah, he's 32, I believe. So he's getting up there in age as well. So, let's look at our second third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, one of the great guys. I have so many stories for this guy when he was with the Reds, and I got to see him in spring training, and I've got tons of his autographs all over the room back here. Love the guy as a person and what he does on the field. So let's talk about his on the field. 49 home runs, but he has a really high strikeout rate. He is declining defensively as he gets older. He'll be 35 in July. So between the fact that he's 35, that his defense is starting to go down, he's got that high K. He did hit 49 home runs, so that does give you the power that you're after. But you've basically got one good thing and three not so good things. So I really think he'll be a third base / DH person wherever he goes. And I'll give you the first crack, Cheese.
Well,
where do you think Suarez is going to go to?
He's so tough to predict, because what if he can play first? Like, what some teams that need first baseman, if he's willing to play first, that opens up so many teams.
And I bet he would be. To be very honest with you, he is a happy-go-lucky. Like I saw him, I don't know how many times. Never seen him frown. Never seen him turn down an autograph. He would stay and sign. The guy's just a great guy. He is the positive vibe guy. He says it all the time. If you've ever been around him, he'll say it to people. Positive vibes only. He used to wear that shirt all the time, and he still does, actually. So I like what he does on and off the field. And I think because of that, if he got the right opportunity and they said, hey, Gino, you're going to have to play some first base for us, I think he'd be like, okay, I'll play some first base for you.
If he's willing to play first base, sounds like he will. I'm not going to pick this team, but he'd be interesting in New York with the Mets, because Pete Alonso might leave. But because I have Bregman and the Tigers, I'm going to say the Red Sox, Suarez. He can play third, first, or DH. I think he's a good fit there. Red Sox, like I said, they lose Bregman. He'll be cheaper than Bregman. So I'll say Boston signs Suarez.
All right.
What
I like that. I think you're going to like where I'm going to put Suarez at, because I think he fits really well with a up and coming third baseman. I think you put the veteran over there at third base, and then you have him play a little bit of first as well, and then you have him DH probably half the year. So he helps out Matt Shaw over at third base, and he goes to the Cubs for a 3-year, $60 million deal with the Chicago Cubs.
I'd like that, but I just don't see it. I think their focus is pitching. And I still think they believe in Matt Shaw. He had stretchers where he hit really well. And he's a Gold Glove candidate, so I get it. But we got Michael Busch at first, who's really good defense. I just don't see it, but it'd be great to have him on the team. I get it.
And I don't know how much you know about Suarez. I know a lot about Suarez from his days with the Reds. That guy can carry a club for 2 weeks, and then he just goes into this 2-week slump where he doesn't hit anything. So I think it'd be a really good pairing with Shaw, right? So you let Suarez play third base and beat the cover off the ball, and then as soon as he starts going into his mini slump, then you put Shaw over there, or you put him at DH, and maybe you give Busch a day off every once in a while, or whatever it is. So I really think he would fit in well with the Cubs. It's just, are they willing to sign him, and are they willing to give him a 3-year contract, being that he'll be 35 years old in July? I also think that's another part to this contract. Speaking of age, that's the part that also kind of haunts JT Realmuto, who we will talk about here next. His weighted runs created plus is 94%, which means last year he was 6% worse than a regular player at that position, which was kind of shocking when I saw it. I was like, really? So he is negative in blocking. He is negative in framing, although I'm not real sure how much framing is going to be with the new strike system. We will talk about that here in later on in the MLB off season. But he's great at keeping runners on. He throws out 29.7% of runners that tried to steal. So that is working for him. He's a good veteran. He's a good situational hitter, but he's getting up in age. He's not as good as he once was. And I'm not sure what kind of market there's going to be for an aging catcher out there that really can't play first, can't play third. You can't put him in the outfield. He's either got a DH or he's got to play catcher. So I think that's going to diminish him a little bit. But we'll see where Cheese thinks Realmuto is going to go here in the Major League Baseball offseason.
A catcher that's, was it 94 WRC plus?
Yes, 94.
Okay.
Yep.
For a catcher, that's really good, actually.
Actually, it's not bad for a catcher.
It's actually not bad for a catcher. That's actually pretty good. No, Realmuto, his base running's worse, his catching's worse, his hitting's worse. He's going downhill. But there are at least half a dozen teams that are desperate for catching. Yep. So he's going to find a market. I think he comes back with the Phillies, but watch out for the Padres and Rays could also really use a catcher. But I just think the Phillies, I think they bring him back. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you, actually. 3 years, 30 for the Phillies. I think they're going to bring him back on that type of a contract. Not a big contract, not a huge money deal, but basically like, okay, we want you to stick around. We'll give you $30 million. That's probably in the top 5 or 7 catchers. I didn't look it up, but I'm sure that's up there with them. So he's still respected. And I don't think the Phillies have any catching depth in their system. So they're going to have to go sign someone. You may as well go ahead and keep the guy who knows your pitching staff and keep the guy who knows the rest of your teammates and all of that. So like I said, 3 years, $30 million, Realmuto stays with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay.
We're going to jump to our last one here. Victor Caratini, opening day 2024, his weighted runs created plus was 108 this past year. So that's really good. He had a 7% walk rate and only a 17.9% strikeout rate. The 17.9 is lower than the Major League average, and the walk rate is higher than Major League average. He is a switch hitter as well. He gets good blocking grades. He's an average fielder, but the opposite of Realmuto, he does not hold runners on very well and does not have a very good arm. So he blocks well, he frames well, but he doesn't throw out base runners well. In fact, base runners just run all over Victor Caratini. So, knowing all of that stuff, Cheese, where do you think Victor Caratini is going to go in the MLB offseason?
Well, I just mentioned 2 teams, the Padres and Rays, could use a catcher. He's played for the Padres before. He actually came over from the Cubs in the Yu Darvish deal when they traded him to San Diego. So let's do that. Let's send him back to the Padres. They know him well. Caratini is just that guy he hits not for power, but he hits enough. Right. He's good enough at maybe not holding runners on, but he's not horrible at catching. He'll hit it for average a little bit. Not a lot of power. I watched him, in person last few years with Houston, and yeah, he's just solid. So let's send him back to San Diego.
Okay, but like you said earlier with Realmuto, right? Solid at the catching position is okay. There are very few catchers who are like outstanding. So solid is okay. I like Hunter Goodman is an up and coming catcher in Colorado, and they also have a guy Romo who is one of their top prospects out in Colorado. And I think that if you bring a veteran presence in to Colorado, let him be with those 2 catchers, and then Colorado is probably going to flip him at the trade deadline and try to get something for him. So I'm going to go. He goes to the Rockies. I'll give him a 2-year deal because I think that's what he's going to want. So the Rockies are going to pretty much have to do it. 2 years, $14 million for Victor Caratini in Colorado, knowing that he's going to help their young catchers out, and then that they're probably going to flip him for something else at the trade deadline. So that's what we're doing with him. Next week will be the outfield, and that'll be really interesting. There's a lot of good outfielders and a lot of different mixes that we can come up with as far as that goes. So that'll be interesting next week when we do our top 5 2025 free agents in the outfield. We may have to do that 2 weeks in a row, by the way, just so you know. There's a lot of outfielders, so we may have to. But first,
who knows? By then there might be signings, so maybe just go fast. We gotta do them all.
Yeah. Okay, not a problem. Maybe we'll do more. We only did 4 this week. Maybe we'll make up for it next week.
Okay.
You never know. But I tell you what I do know, Cheese. I know it's time for your NFL segment. So I tell you what, if you don't mind, sir, let's just go ahead and get this thing going.
Okay.
With this.
Like music. Your phone keeps going?
Yeah. Don't you like that? And people keep calling me. But you know what it's from? It's people going over to our X account and reposting and redoing stuff like that. Now, we have the wrestling site that reposted us. We've got a lot of stuff now. 7,800 people are following us on X. So we appreciate all of the reposts and things that we can get our hands on. Thank you very much for all of that. And like we said last week on X, over 200 of you watched this Lights Out Sports podcast last week. So we appreciate it. Pretty strong on Facebook, too. And then we've just added ourselves to Apple Music and Spotify. And we got a couple more things coming down the pike here within the next few weeks. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have a few more things done as well. So the Lights Out Sports Podcast and All Gloves Off Sports Media is just going to keep growing. I tell you what, I'm going to take advantage of me talking about that here in just a second. I'm going to give you our latest sponsor before we get into the football segment here. And let's do this. And there it is. Go over to Battle Bites. If you go to fightyourbattle.com, that is their site. You can go over there and you can use the code ALLGlovesOff Sports Media. You'll be able to see that and be able to go and get tons of great stuff from Battle Bites. Let me flip over. You'll hear that, I'm sure, as I'm like flipping pages over here because I'm working on a bunch of different stuff here. So I think we're going to do some Dodger stuff over the next week or so. I'm off for the next few days, so I'm going to do some baseball stuff as well. But it's for muscle recovery, 26 grams of high quality protein, low carb, high protein formula with clean ingredients, premium natural brisket, and 10% of all the profits that they get go to the Wounded Warrior Project as well. They've got some great flavors, and they're getting those out right now. You can go to fuelyourbattle.com and use our promo code ALLGlovesOff10 for 10% off your order. And not just the first order. A lot of companies do 10% off of your first order. This is 10% off every order. So go over to fightyourbattle.com. Use code ALLGlovesOff10 and get 10% off your order right now with Battle Bites. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go over to the college football, or not college football. We've done that one. We're going
to do more college football. That's tomorrow. That's
yeah, we're just going to do all of it. So yeah, let me put this back up here. I don't know where that went to. I don't know why that faded away, but we'll fix that, and then we'll do our intro to the NFL. All right, Cheese, what are we going to talk about today in our NFL 4-down territory?
We're going to talk about Joe Burrow returning. We're going to talk about does the NFL need a lottery. We're going to predict the Thanksgiving and Black Friday games. And then there is a mystery question at the end that Mike has no idea what's coming.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Mentally prepared, Mike.
Interesting. And then, of course, after we're done with the NFL segment, we are going to go into our lights out list, and it will be the top 10 starting pitchers available on the Major League Baseball free agent market. So let's jump in, buddy. What is our first question in NFL 4-down territory?
Joe Burrow's back. He is allegedly coming off IR. He practiced in full to start Thanksgiving night against the Baltimore Ravens. He had turf toe. Was supposed to be back early December, so he's ahead of schedule. Although T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson are out, that's really important, two of their best players. But the Bengals are 3-8, and they're all but eliminated. I don't think 9-8 teams, very, very slim chance, and that's if they win out. So we know you mentioned, we've talked about this multiple times on the pod, you not wanting to play Burrow and lose for a higher draft pick since they're not a contender, better for the future. Are you, any part of you excited that Burrow's back and to watch him play the Ravens? Sorry, your action was great.
You're killing me right now. You really are.
You should see in your face, man.
So I needed to have this ready. I should have had this ready more than this. I knew this was coming, and I still didn't have it. Burrow did say some stuff in a press conference today, and I want to pull this up because I'm with you. You know this. We've already talked about it multiple times. I don't want him to come back. I don't know why he's coming back. I wish he would just sit out the rest of the season. But the problem is he doesn't want to do that. You know, I'm looking for it right at the moment. I'm trying to pause for time. But I don't think I can get to it here.
He wants to play.
Yeah, he wants to play. I get it. And I think a lot of athletes just want to play. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of, you know, athletes will be in that camp to where, like, just put me out there. It doesn't matter as far as that part goes. I just want to play. You know, I'm getting paid all this money. And I just want to play. So do I understand where Joe Burrow's coming from? Yeah, I understand it. But at the same time, I think it's much smarter for the team. Maybe not for him. Okay, here we go. I have the quote here. Good, I paused long enough.
You got it.
He says, I am a football player. I am not going to ever go to someone and say, yeah, I'm healthy, but I don't think I should play. I'm not going to live my life and play this game scared that something bad may happen. That's his direct quote from his press conference today. Okay. I get all that, right? And I'm not saying that I don't like the fact that you want to play. I mean, I want my multi-million-dollar players to play all the time too. But sometimes you just need to think more about the team than you, right? And I think what's best for the team is that he doesn't play. But what's best for Joe Burrow is that he gets out there and competes. So there's this fine line to walk, and I guess the Bengals are going to side with Burrow instead of siding with the team.
When you pick higher in the draft, it's not just about getting a better player. It is. Like, for example, okay, I'll say this. They picked, I think, 17th last year. If you pick between 14 and 17 every year, you're not getting a blue chip player. You're not getting an elite offensive tackle. You're not getting, like, you know what I mean? Something they could use. You're not getting probably one of the best pass rushers in the draft. You're just not getting like a blue chip. Yeah, sometimes people fall. You know, Brock Bowers fell to 13 or whatever, but sometimes. But you're just not usually going to get an elite player, like just a perennial Pro Bowler. And it's not just that. Let me give you a perfect example. When the Dolphins took Jalen Waddle, they moved from 12 to 6. They had the 12th pick, and they give, I believe it's the 49ers, a first-round pick in the next draft. So if you pick 12 versus 6, you can move – if you pick 6, instead of 12, you can move down 6 spots, still pick 12, and get an extra first-rounder. So it's not necessarily about picking higher. It's what you can get if you move down. So if the Bengals go on a run and finish 8 and 9, they're going to pick like 14th, 15th, 16th. And if they don't play Burrow and they pick 6th, imagine what they could get for moving down. And Burrow is also risking his injury. He's had bad injury history recently. What if, and I have this in notes, I went a little off there, but the worst case scenario to me is they finish 8 and 9, they don't pick in the top 12, and then Burrow, the last game of the year, tears his ACL or his Achilles, is not ready to go next year.
Stop getting that into existence,
But that could happen. because he plays. It's not just about tanking, getting a better pick. He could hurt himself. Do you agree that's the worst case scenario, or is there something else I forgot?
Oh, is that the worst case scenario? Well, first of all, I mean, we're talking about this. Let's put a number to it. I'm looking it up right now. The Bengals have less than 1% chance of making the 2025 playoffs. Less than 1%. And again, I know that Joe's a competitor and I know he wants to play, but I just think that, and this also shows me that this coaching staff just not have any guts. You should stand up to Joe Burrow and be like, shut up, don't talk, stand over here in the corner and just wait till next year. So the worst case scenario, yeah, absolutely, is that he tears something, towards the end of the season, and then he's going to be out all of next year too.
Or the first 10 games, and they're 3-7. And then he comes back and they go 8-9 and 9-8 every year. That's the word, that's the worst. You don't make the playoffs and you don't pick high enough to either draft a top 10 player or trade back and get a lot more draft capital.
Yeah, they're the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. At least the Steelers have made the playoffs some, but of course the Bengals have too. I'm not saying the Bengals haven't, but yeah, I agree with you. I would not play him.
No.
But now we'll see what happens. But if he plays the rest of the year, I don't think they're going to. Their pick, I think they're 8th right now. I don't think they're going to end up in the top 10 pick. I don't think they will.
No, they're probably
one game away from the second pick. They're 3-8. They're one game away from the second pick. They're 8th right now. That would be huge for the organization. Can imagine if they end up picking second, what they could get for that pick moving back. A ton. They need a lot. They need a lot on defense.
Yeah. That's I mean, I love the team, but there's no doubt about that. I watch this team and just shake my head and throw stuff at the television every week because they do stupid stuff. The Bears should have never beat them. The Jets should have never beat them. I mean, we can go on and on and on here. But at the same point, I'll also put this to you. We have had plenty of people in the draft that went 1, 2, 3, 4 they were surefire NFL players, and they end up not doing a darn thing.
Akili Smith?
Yeah. Stop mentioning so many Bengals players, would you please? Can't you find another team? David Klingler. Hang on.
Was Kijana Carter? Was he a Bengal?
Oh my gosh. You're not supposed to have such a good memory.
NFL draft. If you want to, if you're ever in NFL draft trivia, I'm on your team. You're guaranteed to win.
All right. I like it. If we ever,
especially the last 30 years.
Yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. This is interesting. I'll pick somebody else from some other podcast, and we'll do an NFL trivia like right before the draft or something. This will be fun. You've given me a good idea, sir.
Okay.
So we'll put that together. I like it. But I agree with you. I don't think they should pick, like if they get the 1 to 4 pick, I don't think they should pick there. I agree. They should trade that pick and go down, and they should use that. But they've also proven over the past few years they don't know how to draft. So if you're just going to keep drafting crappy people, then I guess go ahead and throw Burrow in there and pray to God you can make the playoffs.
Duke Tobin, I think that's his name, right? Duke Tobin. I thought about doing a segment, like adding him to the notes, but he's the guy in charge, I believe. Well, he's the de facto general manager. Is that correct? Yeah, he might be fired. But anyway, we'll talk about that. We can talk about that when he does. Okay. So the NFL draft order in every other major sport is determined by a lottery, but not in the NFL. It's determined by the worst record. So the Titans, for example, they have 1 win. Everyone else has at least 2. They would pick first if they don't win any more of their games. We saw the Colts lose for luck. If anyone does not know what that means, the Colts, Peyton Manning was out for the year with a neck injury. So the Colts, once they started like 1-8, 1-9, they pretty much purposely lost every game to try to pick first. I mean, they claim they didn't, but they did because they wanted Andrew Luck, who was, supposed to be once every 10-year type talent quarterback, retiring early so they could draft first overall.
He was.
My question for you is, do you think the NFL should implement a lottery to prevent teams from, taking tanking to get like this. If there's a stud quarterback, if there's a Peyton Manning, if there's an Andrew Luck, because baseball recently did that last few years. They implemented a lot. Do you think NFL should do that?
No. I think this, okay. and I think the reason why they don't and they shouldn't is because that's what we're talking about right now. You can't talk about that in Major League Baseball. You can't talk about that in hockey. You can't talk about it in any other sport, but we can talk about it in the NFL. And the NFL has done a fantastic job over the years of making sure that even if they don't play, we're still talking about them. And this is one of the ways they do it with all this stuff leading up to the draft. We all know who, but even at right now, do you know right now, Cheese, who Tennessee is going to pick?
They are not going to pick first if they have the first pick.
Oh.
They will not pick first because the first pick is going to be a quarterback, in my opinion. There's not one non-quarterback player that is like, oh, he has to. There's no Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? There's no – so they're not going to be picking. It's going to be a quarterback. So, no, I don't know.
And that was kind of the point, right? Even if they're tanking right now, you don't know what they're going to do with that first pick. Now, if they were a quarterback needy team, okay, we know what they're going to do with that first pick. They're going to pick that quarterback but still the controversy is going to be out there. Do you pick Shedeur? Do you pick, who do you pick, right? Do you pick who the Titans already did pick? Is he really working out for them? Do you pick Bo Nix? Do you pick Michael Penix Jr.? Do you pick Jaden Daniels? There's always that controversy, even if they do get the number one pick. So it's not like there's a slam dunk every year. In fact, there are honestly very few slam dunks in this draft. So even if they do tank and they do get the number one pick, I don't think there's ever really a slam dunk guy like Andrew Luck that comes around very often.
But it does happen. Like Joe Burrow, another one. Like that's huge for the Bengals. Turn their whole organization around. A few years later, they were in the Super Bowl.
Well, okay, but how much has it really done? He's been they.
But still, where would they be without him? I mean,
well, again,
but my point is
into existence.
Well, so my point is.
But shouldn't they get in line first? Shouldn't teams get linemen first to protect the quarterback before they get the quarterback?
You should always. The Raiders should have gotten linemen before drafting a running back. But I get why they drafted Genty. I get it. They have no one that can run block. But I'll push back a little on what you said. The NFL, okay, we're talking about it, sure. But if you at the combine had a lottery and there was a Joe Burrow, an Andrew Luck, a Peyton Manning, if you had a lottery, do you know the viewership for that? All the teams that need quarterbacks. There's always about 7 or 8 teams that need quarterbacks. Can you imagine if your team wins the lottery, what that could do for your organization? So I think they should do a lottery. I really do. I don't know if they should do it quite the way NBA does it or NFL or MLB, but I just think that would add a layer to the offseason leading up to it. And there's going to be some quarterback prospect in the next 5 years. It's just the can't miss, absolute stud. I guess it happens every 10 years, 5 to 10 years, in the next 5 or 10 years. And there's going to be a team that's going to try to tank for it. That's what I think. So
you're saying they shouldn't do it like the NBA and cheat and make sure that the San Antonio Spurs get the that the Mavericks get the number one pick after they trade Luka away? That's what.
I'm sure. Well, yeah. I mean, the Spurs, they got Tim Duncan, got Victor Wembanyama. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Who knows? But Spurs too. But yeah. Oh yeah. The cheat with Cooper Flag. Yeah. Sure. There are a lot of teams that have never sniffed the winning the lottery. Been in there a lot.
Right.
NBA teams.
And at least in the NFL, you know that if you're a terrible team, and that's not the only way the NFL does it. We're seeing it this year with the Bears. We're seeing it this year with the Patriots. They want these teams to not be terrible for multiple years. I mean, they saw the Bengals and they've seen the Browns be terrible for multiple years. And the NFL has decided we don't want that. So you know what? Let's do a last place schedule. And let's face it, that's why Chicago and New England are where they are right now.
It's helped.
If they were not playing a last place schedule, they wouldn't be in that spot.
Yep, Chicago's played
the draft.
New Orleans and Las Vegas. Those are 2 teams they played because of their schedule. The other teams in their division aren't playing those teams. Yeah, right. It's helped. But at the same time, I don't want a team that's okay. We started 2-10. Let's just make sure we lose to get this player. You know, I just think a lottery would be kind of fun. But I tell you what I don't want. I don't want a team that's had an injury, just a bunch of injuries, and they finish 7-10, and they win the lottery, and they actually have a pretty good roster. They get a quarterback, and all of a sudden they have this dynasty. So there's I don't know how many teams should be in the lottery. So we will talk about this in the future if the NFL decides to. I just wanted to bring it up because some teams, and you mentioned earlier, the Cardinals may be losing to pick higher in the draft.
It's about the only way I can explain how they're doing it. Because they're doing it in some crazy ways.
One more lottery question. I've seen obviously we know your feelings on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I've seen some Washington fans on X say the same thing. Jaden Daniels, don't bring him back. Their main focus, we were close last year to making the Super Bowl. We want to win next year. We don't want Jaden Daniels to get hurt again. So why not pick higher in the draft? Do you think a lottery will incentivize teams to go ahead and maybe bring their stars back sooner because you're not guaranteed like a top 5 pick, even if you have a bottom 5 record? So why not bring him back?
No, I think what we're seeing with Joe Burrow right now is what's going to make guys like Joe Burrow come back, where he basically tells the team, I'm coming back. I'm healthy. I want to play. I'm coming back. Now, I haven't heard anything from Jaden Daniels himself. I heard that, kind of through some rumblings and some things we've got over on our X account, which is at All Gloves Off SM. You can go over and read that. There's some nuggets over there, but he's not going to play, it doesn't look like, on Sunday. And then it's questionable whether he's going to come back after that for the rest of the season. It's kind of like right now, like would I play his name escapes me, Jackson Dart. Would I play Dart for the rest of the year? I don't know if I would. That's kind of where I think maybe this controversy comes into play. They've already been eliminated. They're the first team to be eliminated in this the young NFL season, right? Mm-hmm. So then it becomes, okay, do I want Jackson Dart to play and get some experience, or do I want to take the chance that Jackson Dart, our future franchise quarterback, might get hurt in meaningless games?
Especially the way he plays. He plays pretty reckless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I can get it with something like that to where, you're going to be weighing this out. But I don't know. Jaden Daniels is hurt. You're making him come back from an injury sooner than what all the doctors and prognosticators are saying he should. Same thing with Joe Burrow. They said 12 weeks. He's coming back at like 8. Why? Why are you pushing it? Just have him sit out.
Yeah. The Bengals, you got to think about your future. If you're not contending, you need to think about your future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to predict the 3 Thanksgiving games plus the Black Friday game by the spread. And then next week we'll revisit and see who did better. And we'll take turns going first. We're going to start with the Packers at Lions. That's the early game. Lions are favored by 2.5. Do you want to go first on this one, or do you want to go second?
Oh, sir, it's the Packers game. I think you should have to go first on the Packers game.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Packers plus 2.5 in this game. Don't love that Tucker Kraft is out, but the Lions are really bad up. Their interior offensive line absolutely struggled against them up front. I think it's a tough matchup for the Lions. And Kirby Joseph, their really underrated safety, is out as well. So give me the Packers plus 2.5. What say you?
I'm going to do the exact same thing. I just think that this is a bad matchup for the Lions. They've got some strengths, but so does Green Bay. And I think Micah Parsons is actually going to be the guy that makes the difference here. I think it'll be interesting to see which player does better, Hendrickson or Parsons. And that's kind of what I'm going to be watching in this game.
You mean Hutchinson? You mean Hutchinson, right?
Hutchinson. What did I say?
You said Hendrickson.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to will him to come back and play for the Bengals, but yeah. So I will. I'll take the Packers as well.
Yeah, Goff can't move. He's not very mobile at all. And when you're going against a team with a pass rush like Parsons, obviously it was a big factor in the week 1 game. Okay. But hey, look, and Sam Laporta's out too. Packers are missing Tucker Kraft, but their tight end, Sam Laporta, is also out. All right. So you're going to go first this one. Chiefs are at Cowboys. Chiefs are favored by 3 on the road. Who you got?
Give me the Chiefs in the 3. The Cowboys came back last week and beat the Eagles. They're literally flying high. Not to use too much of a pun there, but this is the ultimate letdown game, and they've only got a few days to prepare for it. These two teams, the Eagles and the Chiefs, are completely different as far as what you prepare for, and I just don't think the Cowboys are good enough to beat both of them in consecutive weeks. So give me the Chiefs by 3.
I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. We're going to probably end up picking the same. We'll know who did better. I'll say this. The Cowboys defense, since they got Quentin Williams, has been much better. The run defense has been better. But I really like what the Chiefs did last week against the Colts. Colts offense, best offense in the NFL. They did such a good job in the second half. I think it's a bad matchup. I think the Cowboys offense could struggle at times against this Chiefs defense. Chris Jones looked like he's back to normal. He wasn't doing much early on. The Cowboys offensive line is just really bad. It's just really bad. So I think Chris Jones is a big game, and I think the Chiefs, well, they're probably going to get some help with the refs. Despite being 1-4 on the road, the Chiefs have not been good on the road this year. I still think they cover 3. They win by 4 points, and they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, the only pause I have with this game is their record in one-score games. The Chiefs have only won one-score game, and that was last week. So do I say, oh, yeah, well, they're starting to win those games, or do I go by their overall record and say, no, they've not won them throughout the year? So that's the only thing that kind of gives me pause about picking them this week.
The thing is, last year they were 10-1 in one-score games.
Correct.
It's flipped. So
and the rest.
Yeah, but I think their defense is playing better than it's played all year. So that's the main reason I picked the Chiefs. It should be interesting. Both defenses are playing much better than they were earlier. Okay, I will go first on this one. Bengals at Ravens. Ravens are favored by 7. It's in Baltimore. Joe Burrow is back. So this – God, I don't know what to do with this game. I'm a little surprised it's 7. They didn't switch it with Burrow coming back. But Hendrickson is out. T. Higgins is out. I just don't – Ravens just haven't looked great. God, this is tough. Oh, man. I kind of wish you had gone first.
Go ahead. Keep pausing. Go
ahead. This is tough.
You're just trying to say that my Bengals aren't going to win. So, you're just trying to find a way to say no. But so go ahead.
I'll say this. If Higgins and Hendrickson are playing, I would definitely take the Bengals. But I'm going to take the Ravens -7 just because I don't think the Bengals can stop them. And 7 points is one score. I think Burrow has a good game. I just think Baltimore scores in the 40s. I do. And so I think like 42-31, something like that. So give me the Ravens -7.
All right. So the old man had to pull his glasses up here because this is really small type. All right. Yeah. Help me with this guy's name. I know you know it. He's a really good NFL guy. Ari Murat.
He works for the 33rd team. I know you're talking about.
Yes. So what I'm doing here is I trust a lot of what he says. Okay. So this is not a bad
Marov. It's pronounced Marov, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for the help. So he got this from Chase today. Chase says to my team, fans, the Bengals organization, the Steelers organization, and the NFL community. Please know I'm speaking from the heart when I say I take full responsibility for my actions during last Sunday's game at Pittsburgh. What I did was wrong. The circumstances don't matter. My passion for the game is no excuse. There's zero place in our sport or in life for that level of disrespect. I want to personally apologize to everyone within the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. I let my emotions in the moment get the better of me. I can only hope and trust none of it represents who I am as a competitor, a teammate, or a person. I also want to apologize to my coaches, teammates, and the organization for not meeting my own standards as a leader of this team. I like that line. This has been a tough season with some incredibly hard losses. We've all been frustrated, but instead of stepping up with calm, class, and leadership, I let you down. My having to sit out yesterday's game made my actions even more inexcusable. I won't let it happen again. Finally, I want to apologize to my fans. I don't take anyone who wears my jersey for granted. I do not take my position as a role model lightly. As someone who strives to lead with character and authenticity, I should have taken immediate accountability for what happened. I am committed to earning back your respect, not just with words, but with my actions, day after day, on and off the field. I promise to keep learning from this and to set a higher standard for myself moving forward. That was his press release on Monday. So here's why I brought all this up. I believe Chase is going to make up for last week. He's going to go absolutely berserk, and he's going to get, I'm going to say it, 300 yards from scrimmage in this game, and that will propel the Bengals to win. So I'm going to take the Bengals in this game Thursday night. And Cheese, you're either frozen or I've talked so much that your eyes are so closed. I can't figure it out.
Frozen. Everything just went blank. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's my Wi-Fi. It's terrible. Yeah, I saw that quote. Yes.
So that's why I think I'm going to pick the Bengals.
He spit. If anyone doesn't know, he spit. Okay, you're taking the Bengals. Finally, we picked someone different. Okay, you're taking the Bengals to cover the 7?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go to the Friday night game, buddy.
Or
is it Friday
afternoon?
Friday afternoon?
Day. Yeah, probably. I'm going to have it on, but I'm going to focus more on college football. But I got to watch it too. I'm going to probably have it on my computer. Be watching 2 college football games, and then my computer, Amazon Prime, because it's on Prime, which is stupid. That's a topic for another day. Okay, Bears are at Eagles. Eagles favored by 7. Oh, it's your turn to go first. Who you got?
Eagles are favored by 7
at home against Chicago. Yeah,
at home against Chicago. Yeah, they. You know what? I'm going to take the Eagles because they lost last week, and maybe part of this is me hoping because I just don't like the Bears. I don't like Caleb Williams. I think I've let you influence me to hating this team, but I think the Eagles are going to take their frustrations out on the Bears. And I think they're going to lead the entire way and never look back. So Eagles are favored by 7, and I'll take them.
I don't know what it is. The Eagles just go to sleep against the Cowboys late in the game. They did it in week 1, hung on to win. They never seem to play well in Dallas. But they're a really good team. And they're coming off wins against the Lions. They beat the Giants too, but the Lions and Packers. Mm-hmm. So really impressive wins. Their defense looked amazing. I think their defense plays really well in this game. I also like the Eagles. I think it's going to be a really rough stretch for the Bears. So give me the Eagles to cover the 7 win by about 10 or 14 points. Okay, to recap, we all took the Packers, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. The one difference we had, I have the Ravens covering the 7. You have the Bengals. I have the Ravens winning by more than 7. You have the Bengals either winning or losing by less than 7. So that's the one different game. We'll revisit next week. Okay, last question. Before we do, the lights out list.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I have no idea what's coming. Here we go. I feel like I got flames around me or something. I don't know what's going to happen here.
Well, twist. I got a twist here. It's not an NFL question.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Anything my wife makes, because she's going to be listening to this podcast later.
Smart answer.
Yes. We got to put that in there. I love turkey. It's one of my favorite meats in the world. It's second only to burger, but I love the dark meat.
I love the dark meat too.
Yeah, I've got to have.
Trust me.
Oh, there's a joke right there, but I'll just leave that alone.
No, but the dark turkey is so much better than the white meat. Definitely.
Oh, okay. Anyway, So yes, I don't care about the mashed potatoes. I'm not a gravy guy. I'm not the cranberry in the can stuff. Nope, I'm not that guy either.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go turkey, and close second would be the pumpkin pie. So I'm going to go for the main course and then go right to dessert.
Okay. There, and that concludes our NFL segment.
All right, excellent.
Lights out this time.
Yes, it is. All right, let me get over to it. Let me switch the. Oh no, let me put the music on first. I don't know why I'm talking out loud. I shouldn't be doing
real
that.
quick, I mean,
Do
do you have? I just want to know. Do you have Amazon Prime? Are you going to watch Eagles Bears? Do you?
I do have Amazon Prime. I mean, my wife is the Amazon queen.
Okay.
So we get all kinds of packages. The people here know her on a first name basis and everything else. So
not everyone does, so they're not going to be able to watch that game. All the Christmas games are on Netflix. I don't like that. We're going to talk about that in another pod. But I was just curious. But I'm going to watch it, but on the computer. But I'm going to focus more on college football. I'm sure you will.
I'm with you there too. I'll be more focused on the college stuff, and it'll be interesting because you and I will have to keep contact with each other during the next few days, and we'll we're going to do our college football rivalry stuff tomorrow. And what times is that going to be on again, sir?
That is on at noon Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain Time, and Mike Valentine time, and 9 Pacific. And yeah, you know what I'm going to do on Friday? Georgia Tech will be on the main TV, of course.
Okay.
I'm going to put Temple of North Texas on my other TV. I have not watched North Texas this year. So I'm going to check them out. And then on my computer, I will have Amazon Prime on and watch Bears Eagles. That's my setup for the 2:30 Central window, or 3:30 Eastern.
All right.
In case you wanted to know.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the knowledge, sir. I'm trying to decide when I'm going to contact you because you'll be watching all these games, and I'm going to feel bad shooting you over messages. And
no, just keep messaging me. And then the 2 games at night that Friday is Texas A&M, and then Arizona State. Those are huge games as well. So I can't wait for Friday. It's going to be so awesome.
Right. Okay, great. I appreciate it. We got one more bit of business, so let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our version of the top 10. That is the Lights Out list. And today on the Lights Out list, we are going to be doing MLB available starting pitchers. Like I said, our lists are always different, and I'm sure today they're going to be really different because I'm doing a whole lot of stat stuff, and you're probably not. So.
Okay. No, I just went by just memory from pitchers I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing memory.
But
I'm doing
as we go, I'm going to kind of look them up and see how dumb I am, or smart. Oh, real quick, anyone that signed the qualifying offer, I did not put in my list.
That's correct. I didn't do that either.
Good, make sure. The 2 players that I would have put on this list if they hadn't accepted the qualifying.
All right, I like it. So who's going to start? Am I going to start at number 10, or are you going to start at number 10?
I'm going to go. The music, can we turn down a little, or just?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, cool.
Right.
So Shota Imanaga and Brandon Woodruff accept their qualifying offer, or they would both have definitely been on this list. So
I agree.
My number 10 is Zach Littell. He is a pitch to contact ground ball type pitcher, and I didn't think he would be on this list. But after about 7 or 8 guys, I kind of ran out of guys that were just really good. But no, he's a back rotation guy. He'd be so good on the Cubs, but they're not going to sign him because they need a strikeout pitcher. They already have guys like him. But if he gets with a team with a hitter's park with good defense, he could have an ERA in the 3s. Zach Littell. He's a pitchability guy, but he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's an above average pitcher. Like you said, he's a pitch to contact guy. He does give up a lot of home runs, so I would hope that he signs somewhere, with the Giants or with the Mariners or somebody like
Tigers,
that. Has a bigger, Tigers
Cubs,
have a bigger ballpark. Tigers would work really well, actually.
Mm-hmm. And he needs a good defense because he gets a lot of ground balls.
He does. He does do a lot of ground balls. We'll talk about some pitchers in here that will do a lot of ground ball rates. Now, I do not have Zach Littell on my list. Mine starts off with Lucas Giolito. He was great in Chicago. He blew up in Boston. Didn't do much for them in Boston whatsoever. But I'm going to take his track record, and I'm going to take his last 20 starts with Chicago. There seemed to be a disconnect there, because I don't know if you noticed this, but the Red Sox left him off their roster when they went to the playoffs. I just think there was a disconnect there. They were upset with each other, or something was going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about. Because his last 20 starts with them, he had a 3.03 ERA, and he did 113 innings in those last 20 starts. So I put him at the bottom. I'm even going to tell you who he's going to sign with. I'm going to give you a bonus one just for the number 10.
Go for it.
Just for the number 10 guy. Arizona Diamondbacks will pick him up because
I like it.
Because they signed James McCann last week, and the catcher who has caught Lucas Giolito the most in their career is James McCann.
Diamondbacks need starting pitching. If any of these others you want to mention who they're signing with, go for it.
Okay.
I like that. Why not? Okay. More on him later, by the way.
All right.
Number 9 is Chris Bassett. Once again, I wouldn't think he'd be on the list. If Shota Imanaga and Brandon Woodruff, we wouldn't have had Littell or Bassett. But Chris Bassett is what he is at this point. He was better when he was in his prime with the A's, but he's still solid. He's going to give you innings. He's back rotation guy, but he's just reliable. He's going to have an ERA probably between 3.7 and 4.2, and everyone needs pitchers like him. So give me Chris Bassett number 9.
All right. More on Chris Bassett later, because I agree with you on a lot of what you just said.
Okay.
My number 9 guy is another guy who I'm going to tell you is going to go back to the Arizona Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly. 5.73 as far as innings goes. 573 innings in the 4 seasons with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He had a 3.96 ERA in those 573 innings. He is 37 years old, so he's not going to go back on a large contract or a lengthy contract. But his career, 3.77 ERA and a 22% K rate, only a 7.2% walk rate, and that includes all of his years in Korea. So Lucas Giolito at 10, Merrill Kelly for me at 9.
So my number 8 is Merrill Kelly. And yeah, he played in Korea, so he didn't get started until he was 30 years old.
Correct.
So even though I feel like he's just better than most 36-year-olds, it doesn't feel like, I don't know Korea, but it just doesn't feel like, he didn't seem to have this wear and tear. He doesn't seem like he's dropped off. And he's the guy, obviously you watch a lot more Diamondbacks games than me. Mm-hmm. Every time I see him pitch, he seems to do well. He's that guy for me. Everyone's got that guy. Yep. So I just really like Merrill Kelly. I think I'd love it if the Braves or Cubs signed him, because he just seems like every time I see him, he gets a lot of strikeouts. He just misses a lot of bats. And like you said, not walking people is huge. So number 8 is Merrill Kelly.
All right. So we flipped 8 and 9. My number 8 guy is Chris Bassett.
Okay.
He just came on with a 3-year, $63 million contract with the Blue Jays. He made 30-plus starts in each of those 3 seasons. He only spent a 1-2-week stint on the IL. And the bonus part for me in signing him would be how well he did in the bullpen for the Blue Jays in the World Series. So he's willing to do what the team wants him to do. And I think he could be a really good swing man, especially at this point in his career where he's getting up there in age. So give me Chris Bassett at number 8.
My number 7 is also a Diamondback until he signs elsewhere, if he does, is Zach Gallen. I didn't know what to do with Zach Gallen.
I didn't either, actually.
He was 29 this year. He'll be 30 next year, which is actually younger than most people on this list. But the last couple of years, he's declined. He did not pitch nearly as well. He was better later on in the year, but it's concerning that he had by far his worst year ever, really, actually. Gone is the 2022 Cy Young candidate. He's just not that. So I don't know. And he's got a qualifying offer. I know I didn't, when I made this list, I didn't think of, didn't use that. I just realized he has a qualifying offer, but I couldn't put him in my top 5 just because he was coming off a really bad year. But he's still Gets a lot of ground balls. He's still a really good pitcher. It's just he's not nearly as good as he used to be.
Yeah, I'm with you. So Giolito, Kelly, Bassett, those are my bottom 3 guys. This guy is, most people are probably going to say that I'm putting him way too far down on this list. But there's a reason that I'm doing it, because he has one good year and then one bad year, and then one good year and then one bad year. And he's going to want a big-time contract.
Okay.
And I'm not giving a guy a big-time contract when I don't know what I'm going to get. Let me give you some examples here. So he had a 2.20 ERA and second place in the Cy Young in 2022. He followed that up in 2023 with a 4.57 ERA, and then went back down to the 3.47, and then the fourth place Cy Young in 24, and all of this, right? So I'm going to bore you with a bunch of stats. So
it's just I have him a lot higher.
I'm sure most people would.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm reading a lot of this off of one of my favorite baseball websites. I'll plug them, MLBTradeRumors.com. They're a fantastic site for those of you who love baseball like I do. Cease is coming back from, and it's who it is. It's Dylan
Cease. Yes.
He's coming back from Tommy John surgery. And he was actually picked, if you don't know, by the Cubs originally.
Of course I know.
Way back when. So, I put Dylan Cease way down here at number 7 because I think there's a lot of other pitchers who are more money friendly. He's going to want a big-time contract, and can you guess who his agent is?
Boris.
Yes. That's the other reason why I'm putting him down there.
The agent qualifying offer, I didn't knock people down for that, so I have more on him later. Okay. My number 6, you've mentioned him, is Lucas Giolito. The reason I put him higher is he was coming, he had some injury issues and he was coming off some bad years, and he looked better. And I always loved the guy the second year after the major injury. He didn't pitch in 2024. Yes. And like you said, he pitched well down the stretch. His strikeout numbers got better throughout the year.
Good.
I've always liked him. I remember watching him with the White Sox. I've always liked him. And yeah, I think he's a potential Cubs signing, possibly. I think the Cubs. I think could be the pitcher the Cubs go after. They really need a right-hand starter. So yeah, 6, Lucas Giolito.
All right, and I don't have a problem with you putting him at 6. I think it's going to be interesting to see if somebody will give him a multi-year deal, or if he's going to want some kind of what they would call a pillow contract, where it's like, okay, I'm going to come, I'm going to be a little cheaper for you, I'm going to prove my worth, and I'm going to hit the free agent market next year and get a huge contract, like what I think Dylan Cease is trying for right now. And that's why I put him down that low. So I think that'll be the interesting part to him. Brandon Woodruff is my number 6 pitcher.
Okay.
From 20 to 23, he was a 30.2% K rate pitcher. That's really good. He struck out 30% of the people that he faced. He had shoulder surgery that cost him the rest of the 23 and 24 season, and he only pitched for 64 2/3 innings in 2025, and then he had a lat strain at the end. So he has got a lot of injury issues, but when he's on, he is good. 64 2/3 innings last year with a 32.3% strikeout rate and only a 5.4% walk rate. So how many innings are you going to get out of him? How much money are you willing to give him? I don't think he's going to demand a lot.
He accepted his qualifying offer with Milwaukee.
Oh, you know what he did? You're right.
So that's why I didn't have him on the list. Otherwise, the Cubs were going to be really high on him.
All right. Well, you can just, I don't know.
All right. I'll give my next one, and you can have him because I don't think you have him on this list. So you can just, Hey, remember we did top 10 managers and I picked a manager that had been fired? I forgot he got fired.
That's okay.
Yeah. So my number 5, like I said, you're not going to have on this list. So we'll just transfer this one to you. His name is Tatsuya Imai. He is a Japanese pitcher. Did you have him on the list?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. You did. Okay. He's coming off a 1.92 ERA in Japan, 28% K rate. I wanted to put him higher, but that translates to probably 21% in America. So he's going to have to be more pitch to contact, but he was absolutely dominant for Japan the last few years. I think he's more of a number 3 starter in America, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's still good. It's still number 5 on this list. And, 10 or 12 teams are in on him from what I've seen. So Tatsuya Imai, number 5.
All right. And you even got the name pronunciation right. Look at you, buddy.
That's just guessing. I have no idea if that's right.
Well, it's pretty close anyway. So you've already mentioned my number 5 guy. He had a great career, but I think his career turned in a bad way in 2023. If you look at his numbers, he pitched 210 innings in the regular season in 2023, and then he pitched another 33 2/3 in the postseason. A bunch of wear and tear on that arm. And then when he came back for the Arizona Diamondbacks, he wasn't as good. And he's not been great since, but he pitched well down the stretch. We've said this about 2 or 3 other pitchers, and he's got a pretty good career. So I put Zach Gallen as my number 5 guy.
Okay. I feel like he's going to be a steal or a free agent bust, even worse.
Zach
Where
Gallen?
he's just going to return to form. Yeah, no in between. Someone's going to get, He's one I think might have to wait a while because he's got the qualifying offer and coming off of that year. So he's one that might have to wait into January. My number 4 is Michael King. I didn't know what to do with him either, but the more I thought about it, he's just got really good stuff. He's played really well the last couple of years since he was a reliever for the Yankees, and the Padres made him a starter. And he's looked really good. And more than both years, more strikeouts than innings pitched. Wasn't as good this past year before. I think he got hurt and missed part of the time. But he's got really good stuff. Only 30 years old. So Michael King, number 4.
All right. So he will be 31 years old when the season starts. He is very similar to my number 3 guy, who I don't want to give away that. You were right. He is because, by the way, we have the same exact person in the same exact spot.
Okay.
So he was a reliever back with the Yankees. He's great when he's healthy, as you've proven with your stat line numbers, and I'm not going to repeat, but he was often injured this past season. And I don't think he's going to want a huge contract. So Michael King is my number 4 guy, just like you.
So two of our top 3 will be the same. One will be different. My number 3 is Framber Valdez. Framber Valdez of the Houston Astros. He's one of those short, stout pitchers, but he's just got really good pitch to contact stuff. He gets so much weak contact. He's one of those guys that just always is better than probably his stuff. He's reliable. The big problem with him is he had this incident where he was mad at his catcher and he crossed him up. Could have gotten the catcher hurt. Just seems like on the mound he's got attitude at times. So the personality might not be the best for the locker room. And he was just much better maybe the last 3 years. This year he was good. He just wasn't as good, and he's going to be 32 years old. But he's still number 2, at worst number 3 starter type, left-hander. And I got to give him credit. It's really hard to be a left-hand pitcher in that ballpark. There's a right field porch. A left field porch.
Crawford boxes are. Yep.
Crawford box, yes, the Crawford box. I should know that. I'm there, 2 or 3 times a year. So Framber, number 3.
All right. So Lucas Giolito, Merrill Kelly, Chris Bassett, Dylan Cease, Brandon Woodruff, who I shouldn't have put in there, but I did. Zach Gallen was at number 5. Michael King was at number 4. I can admit when I make a mistake, buddy.
I'm going to switch. I'm going to put in Max Scherzer in that spot for you. There you go.
Okay.
I love Max Scherzer. Okay.
I do. I actually do like Max Scherzer a lot.
I had him 11. I couldn't put him on.
The thing I don't like about him is he's come out 2 or 3 times saying that, we need to get more money. We need to get and
he's got Scott Boras agent, right?
And Garrett Cole, those guys. No. Anyway, this guy for me is a guy who has steadily improved. He was a sub-4 ERA in 3 of his last 4 seasons. He is 10th in Major League Baseball with a 50.8% ground ball rate, even though he pitches in a small ballpark. He pitches in the Brotherly Love ballpark. Ranger Suarez for me was number 3. I just like a guy who continuously improves like he has. And again, I don't think he's going to ask for a ton of money like what Dylan Cease is and some other pitchers on this list are. So because of that, all of those factors put together, I would love to have him on my team, and I would love to be able to sign Ranger Suarez.
More on him now. Ranger Suarez is my number 2. He had just an amazing year. Every time I saw him pitch, he looked good. You know, not Merrill Kelly every time I saw him, but no, Ranger Suarez, it's unbelievable just how much better he's gotten every year. And
yes,
I don't think he made the All-Star game this year. He made it the year before. I don't know why. I think he was that one guy that should have made it. Everyone was shocked didn't, but he's going to get paid. Every team could use a Ranger Suarez. I don't think the Cubs are aimed that high. And I think they need a righter. He's a left-hander. So, but yeah, he's my number 2. So obviously I'm high on him. Ranger Suarez, number 2. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 guy is a guy you spoke about earlier. Actually, 2 and 1 are pitchers that you have spoke about earlier. 2, Tatsuna Amane, I believe.
We both pronounce it differently, but you might be right. I might be wrong.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Whatever his name is, right? So in his last 2 seasons in Japan, 2.34 ERA and a 1.32 ERA. Now I know that it's different there, but still, even if that composes to a 3 ERA across the board, I'm still fine with that. 27.8% strikeout rate. And the reason why I had him lower on this list, probably about where you had him at, until 2 days ago.
Okay.
Did you see his quote from 2 days ago?
I did not. I can't wait.
Bumped me up on this list.
Okay.
He said something to the effect of, I thought I had it written down here somewhere, but I don't, I guess. I'm making sure. No, I don't. Okay, so
for Christmas, I'm going to get Mike Valentine and Organizer. We're going to do that for Christmas.
Right. Yeah. So he said something to the effect of, would I love to play for the Dodgers and pitch beside of my other Japanese, my fellow Japanese players? Yes, I would love that. But what I would love to do more is to play on another team and take them down. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's some moxie there. And I can't stand the Dodgers. So that immediately rose him up to number 2.
I should go to Toronto. He should go to Toronto, the team they play in the Finals World Series. That's where I'm predicting. There you go. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. But
no, that's fine. Predict my way, man. I love that. That wasn't the exact quote, but I love the fact that he would say, I would love to play beside the people that I know, but I'd rather play on another team and then take them down. I was like, yeah. That's a Dan Lanning run through the wall for his, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's Japan, but he was dominant.
Yes.
So very likely he will have some, at least number 3 starter, probably success. So
absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So run us down, buddy. 10-1. Okay. What do you got?
Zach Littell is number 10. Number 9 is Chris Bassett. Number 8, Merrill Kelly. Number 7, Zach Gallen. Number 6, Lucas Giolito. Number 5, Tatsuya Amai, something like that.
Yeah, that's what we'll go with.
Number 4, Michael King. Number 3, Framber Valdez. Number 2, Ranger Suarez. My number 1, you had him, I think, 6th. The reason I put Dylan Cease number 1, not coming off the best year, no doubt about it, but he still misses so many bats. His strikeout rate is unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
And I did look up stats on him. Because I wasn't sure. I didn't know what to do with him either. His field of independent pitching is a run lower than his ERA. So he had a lot of bad luck. And in the postseason, look at the Dodgers, look at the Blue Jays. You have to miss bats. Pitching to contact is great if you get weak contact, but you're going to face the best hitters, and a lot of that is based on luck. When you miss bats, that's not luck. You're just missing bats. You're not giving up blue pits. I just think Dylan Cease, maybe he's not the best pitcher in this group, but he's the one I target the most, minus who his agent is, just because he misses bats. I wish he walked less. I wish his ERA was lower, but man, when he's on, he's ridiculous. So I had Dylan Cease number 1, but anyway, the top 5 were all so close to me.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I put a guy that you put a little further down your list at my number 1. And I think some of these stats that I'm going to give you are going to surprise you a little bit, but for the reason why I did it. Framber Valdez is my number 1 guy.
I figured, yeah.
First of all, he's a lefty. That raises him up right away because he's a lefty.
Sure.
So since 2021, when he made his debut, he has got the second most innings pitched in all of Major League Baseball, only trailing a guy named Logan Webb. In each of his last 6 seasons, he is no less than 8th in innings pitched. So he's going to give me all the innings I can handle. To me, he's like the perfect number 2 guy. Lefty, gives you a lot of innings, can give you some strikeouts. He is from 22 to 25. He averaged 192 innings, and he did 85 other postseason innings. So he's got that experience as well. Mm-hmm. Lastly, ground ball rate is 60%.
Oh,
and he's been,
I didn't realize it was that good.
60% ground ball rate, which is top 3 in all of Major League Baseball. And he is also in the bottom 10 in home run rate. So he's going to put the ball on the ground.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's putting the ball on the ground, and he's not allowing home runs. He gives you a ton of innings, and he's a left-hander. Framber Valdez, to me, is the clear-cut number 1.
Can you imagine if he goes to a ballpark that's advantageous for a lefty? Because he's in the worst ballpark for a left-hand pitcher. That Crawford box is so close. I sit by it. Me and my buddy Kevin, we sit right by that Crawford box. We sit usually third base line. We love it over there. And yeah, I watched him pitch live. Yeah, he was so good in that game. So yeah, maybe I should have put him higher. Oops.
It's all right. You're not the big stat guy, man. I get it.
I think that when he crossed the catcher up, that just kind of stuck with me. And I probably would have put him second if not for that, but I put him third.
And that's fine. I completely get it. So mine were Giolito, Kelly, Bassett, Cease at 7. Then I screwed up and put Woodruff at 6, and then Zach Gallen at 5. Michael King, Ranger Suarez, the foreign guy who I don't know how to pronounce his name. So we're just going to go with how you said it. And then number 1, Framber Valdez. Great list. Thank you very much for doing that. Tomorrow, our lights out list that we're going to do is going to be the most important games in college football this weekend. That list should be interesting tomorrow as well. That's our lights out list for tomorrow.
I got a feeling our number 1 probably the same.
Probably so.
Probably. But other than that, they're going to be way different because it's you and me.
All right. Fantastic, buddy. Hey, is there anything else you want to add to the end of this, bud?
No, just join us tomorrow morning. Noon Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain, 10 Mike time as well, and 9 Pacific. Make sure you join us. It's all college football. We're going to talk rivalries. We're going to preview the most important week of the year. So make sure you join us. And and I'm hungry.
Yes. It's a good jumping off point for us. I can't wait to do the special show, and then we're going to keep going with the college football when we start doing bowl matchups and when we start making predictions there. And this is just a really good jumping off point as rivalry week. Can't wait to talk about more of it tomorrow. All right, let's stop that music as we're exiting out of here, and let's put on the outro as we all say. The only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base line. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us.